what you came for. Blood on the game bow, everybody drop it like rainfall. This is your moment, eyes on a puppet. Can't think, chest just open, and you're singing your praises, la la la, screaming your name, la 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 la. One more step, you're immortal now. 'Cause once you play God, once you play God, they're gonna crumble one by one. Then we gonna ride right into the sun like it's the day my kingdom come. Baby, we're Hey, welcome to the big show. Next on the ladder, is it your name in the rafters? Breathe, breathe, breathe. No man is silent. Bad guy woke up and chose violence, and they're singing my praises, la la la, screaming my name out, la la la. This is why we're immortal now. 'Cause once you play God, once you play God, they're gonna crumble one by one. Then we gonna ride right into the sun like it's the day my kingdom come. Baby, we're I'm on my knees, pray for glory. Anyone read this underdog story? I can't lose myself again. Help me raise this sword. I'm brave. Once you play God, but once you play God, they're gonna crumble one by one. Then we gonna ride right into the sun like it's the day my kingdom come. Once you play God, once you play God, they gotta crumble one by one. Then we gonna ride right into the sun like it's the day my kingdom come. Baby, we're once you play.
I lied awake for days, counting all the ways I died. Everything I couldn't save, buried down, still half alive. It's got me crawling in my skin, but no one's coming out to hold me close. Pouring out the gasoline, yeah, I've been making friends with all these girls, and I got nothing left to lose. Fight to the future. Sick and distressed, but I'm back
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless, you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, they'll rot into smoke when the fire is fierce. No, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die. They're written down in eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die.
Hello and welcome everyone to the NLC Aurora Cup Group B. I am Kaczka, joined by Kaya, and we'll be covering Veneer versus Fourth Wall today.
Yep, it's the second game that we're going to be seeing in this Group B that we have at the Aurora Cup. We've got Veneer on one side, Fourth Wall on the other side. Both of them obviously played their last summer splits in Div 1. Fourth Wall found themselves having to forfeit in the relegation series, so we'll be coming in technically as a Div 2 organisation, but very excited to see how these two organisations fare off against each other today.
Absolutely, it is going to be another best of three. Last time round in this group, though, Gran Turismo did beat Roddy. And one of the questions that I'm just going to touch on immediately, is there going to be a play-ins buff? I mean, it doesn't apply blanket-wise across the groups. If you look at day one results, you know, some of the teams coming in, not from play-ins, managed to take the win. But is there a Group B curse? Boom? Depends how you look at it.
Who knows? I mean, a lot of the Div 1 teams struggled yesterday. We saw, obviously, J-Lings coming in and surprising everyone with a 2-0 win over Nord. We saw Lions Creed from play-ins as well take a game off of a very strong Natives roster who just came off of EMA Masters and also winning Div 1 last split. So who knows? Maybe the play-ins buff is well and truly alive. So we'll have to keep an eye on Fourth Wall Veneer today.
We absolutely will. And in case anyone is unfamiliar, the format of the groups is each of the teams plays one game. Essentially, win two, you're through, lose two, you're out. So if you win, you're going to play Gran Turismo for that qualification spot. If you lose, you're going to play Roddy to avoid elimination. And I mean, usually you can say it is a chill series. However, no doubt if you're these players, you know, you really want to avoid going up against Roddy in the relegation match.
Yeah. I mean, just on the face, I mean, if we had said this before, you have to face Ruddy if you lose. That's already quite a scary test there. But obviously, what we saw from Ruddy was a lot of very inconsistent map decisions, but they have completely changed their roster, only keeping Shihan. So it was a very brand new roster, a lot of very brand new names as well that we haven't actually seen in the kind of competitive scene much. Whereas on the other hand, we have these two rosters that we have today, 4-4, who we've been able to see from the play-ins, but Veneer, on the other hand, haven't done a Ruddy and got rid of their whole roster. They have kept 4 out of 5 of the players, only replacing their support.
Yeah, so obviously you're going to have that experience coming in, and this is maybe where we're going to see those trends break. Fourth wall coming in 5-1 from playing, strong record, but yeah, Veneer, if you're gonna keep 4 out of 5 of your players, then should be looking pretty strong. In best of series, I always like to of course, look at how game one is going to go. Which of these teams is going to come in more confident? That I think can tell you a lot about how what the mentality is. You know, if you're coming in game one, you've got a draft that plays to your style, and you're very confident about what you're doing. Then that kind of tells us that, all right, this team thinks that they're going to. Well, obviously you think you're going to win, but they're feeling confident about it.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, the big thing that we're going to have in these games is the fact that we've got fearless draft. So if a team has perfected one style of play, or maybe one player has got one champion or something that they are really good at, they can only have that champion for one game. So there's going to be a lot of thinking around draft about the priority of picks, and also who are the ones that we definitely want to ban, and who are the ones that we maybe want to take in a game one, or maybe we're going to save something if it starts going into those into game 3. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the priorities for either team kind of land, and also what champions we see both teams kind of pick on other ends of each game, because we saw in the Ruddy game, by game 3, a lot of the champions neither team could actually pick because both teams had prioritized picking them.
Yeah, and you kind of dropped in the hints of the different approaches you can take to the fearless draft. One is, if you have a champion you're really comfortable on, do you want to take it game one? Do you want to get it right off the board? Because if you lose, then suddenly you are 0-1 down and you can no longer play that champion. But on the other hand, it's a best of 3. It's not a terribly long series. It's not like you can really save those picks. And yeah, it's going to be interesting how those mind games are going to be played, of course, and with you self-banning 5 champions after game 1 from your own team, it opens up a whole new dimension by the time, by the game 2 adaptation.
Yep, and obviously it is important to say that we are in 13.19 as well. We haven't seen too much, especially at the higher levels. We haven't seen too much play on this sort of patch. So there are still some picks that we're not sure about where they fit in the meta. Yesterday we saw Ruddy having to ban away Tristana and Rel, both on blue and red side. Yesterday on Monday we saw red side was really strong. Both teams won on red side. All of the games were actually won on red side in the series in Group B. So we'll have to see how this kind of series wants to kind of develop its own meta, whether we're going to see certain picks be really high prio, whether the bans will stay the same, or whether we'll see the kind of opposite, where blue side becomes really strong because you can get the first picks in, you can kind of have your draft a lot more flexible in that sense. So we'll have to see what this kind of game brings us in terms of their own meta. What are these teams prioritizing?
Absolutely. Do we know what the sides are for the game 1?
It is Veneer blue.
Okay, Veneer blue side,
and they had side selection as well. So the Div 1 teams had side selections over the teams coming from playing. So Veneer have chosen to go on blue side.
Okay, trying to maybe defy the Group B curse. I mean, it's always funny throwing in the stereotypes. Just name as many as you can before the first game, see how many stick by the end, and you're going to get some of them right.
Exactly, and at the end you can claim that you were really smart and you knew everything before it happened, so it's always good to claim.
Yeah, for more caster tricks, make sure to follow the rest of the stream.
Exactly.
I think there we go. I was going to say, I think we might be going into the draft fairly soon. The players have been getting ready for quite a while. And there we go.
There we go.
Ash going with the first ban. I mean, I remember you told me Grave Past does play a bit of Ash, so not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, one of the key takeaways from the couple games that I saw from Fourth Wall, Grave Past looked really, really strong. He prioritized a lot of Ash picks in the games. I saw one Samira game as well from him, and he just absolutely took over. So not a surprise that Veneer want to ban that away, but we're seeing a couple picks come through now. Ash and Zed on the side of Veneer, the Ivan and Syndra taking away from 4th Wall.
Yeah, Ivern seems like a very standard red side ban so far. Zed definitely seems more personal. I wonder if that's kind of a asymmetry that we're going to be seeing with Fearless Draft. If you've got the first pick, you suddenly don't want your opponents responding with something and completely neutralizing your champions that you have prioritized to pick for the rest of the series, really.
Yep, Tristana banned on blue side, so that might give an indication that Veneer either don't play it or don't flex it, so it's a bit of a giveaway. Pivot, a massive Belveth player as well, so I'm really not surprised that 4-4 have taken that away. Cass does not want to play into that, but it'll be interesting to see what Cass does pick in the jungle. From his time, he is a massive Karthus player, plays a lot of Lilia, but Orianna is the B1 on the Veneer side.
Certainly been a while since I have seen Orianna be first pick in a series, but fairly safe mid laner can pick a lot of compositions around it, and it's not too specific, so you're not going to really miss it. And yeah, I quite like it. Rel was left open. We've seen a lot of, well, at least I remember seeing a lot of fans in play-ins towards that champion. It is being hovered, and Lockton, I think? Is it frozen for a bit? Possibly.
It probably is in this sort. So there it is. It is locked in. So yeah, Rel massive. Still hasn't really shifted from the meta. Still really high priority. Can at the moment still viable to be flexed into jungle as well. But the Yone, guessing that's a counter straight into the Orianna there. So Fade probably taking that one.
Yeah, you have to imagine mid laner gets picked early. You're gonna try and match that Orianna. I can't really see her going anywhere else. I mean, if this is solo queue, you can doubt it, but really, no. It's going to be a mid laner. Now, hover on the Xin. Xin Orianna I kind of like as a duo, especially as a boulder delivery mechanism. Not the most, consistent at setting up that ultimate, but allows you for a lot of early game power, which can then snowball.
Yeah, we have been seeing a lot of combinations between Orianna and Jarvan with a lot of easy to execute ball kind of delivery and service on that side. So that had been a massive thing that had continued to be a part of this ever developing meta, really.
I don't know if I like Xayah being picked across the ban phase in the Fearless Draft, because you can ban Rakan here and you deny the Lover's Duo for the whole series if you're 4th Wall.
Yep. Well, I mean, they can pick the Lover's Duo and then Veneer can't ever use it again. But the Lilia being picked up from Cast, this is a Lily. This is a Cast specialty. He very much likes these kind of. He's going to just farm and become really strong type of champions. Obviously, we saw the Yone get picked as well. So you want some form of AP jungler. Cast had a load of them to pick from, and he's chosen the Lilia as his highest priority there.
Rumble, so denying the Wombo combo because we have some kind of potential with the Rel, Yone, Lilia, fairly decent follow-up, and whereas Xayah can be quite safe. Yeah, I imagine if you throw in a Rumble carpet on top of that competition, it's going to be at least unpleasant to play against, if nothing more. Let's see, are 4th Wall going to give up the Rakan? I would imagine. Yeah, Veneer are they almost certainly going to pick it? Yeah, I'm going to say. Okay, there we go. There we go. No more speculating.
Yep. So 4th Wall going. Yep. No luck having the Lovers Duo. That means that obviously for Veneer, the Lovers Duo, if they want to pick either side of it, it is split up. So they obviously lose the chance to be able to pick Xayah again. So they can still pick Rakan, but you don't have the Xayah later on to pair with that. Rakan is really strong by itself, so it's not the end of the world for the side of the Rakan, but it'll be interesting to see what they want to pair with the Xayah now that they obviously do have the Xin and the Orianna. But last ban was the Callista on the side of Veneer, so that against the side of Grave Pass. So maybe we'll see the ADC pick being picked up here, and then the counter for sleeping in the top lane. It looks like probably the Varus out of all of these options so far that's been hovered on the side of 4th Wall, and it will be the Varus.
Some long-range crowd control to set up any other potential engages. I think that's the angle here if you're 4th Wall, and I respect it. I actually think we're going to, well, we'll see over the course of the tournament if that's true, but with the Fearless draft, I feel like it's more likely to see teams just kind of all-inning on one identity of a composition, because once you pick champs which are really good at something, you don't want to pair them with champs that are mediocre at that same thing and hope you can get a better draft next game. No, they're gone. Once you pick them, like, you have to get absolute every drop out of their utility. So Renekton Zin, that's a very strong topside now.
Yep, obviously the Renekton, massively high priority in the top lane. Not really many ridiculously bad matchups for the Renekton. The Nautilus being picked up there for X-Drop, so obviously the newest face on this Vanir lineup, X-Drop coming in. He's going to be pairing Liam Cole's Xayah up with his Nautilus. So we'll have to see what Forth will want to pick into this Renekton. It's over to Sleeping, and he has a host of range of options that he could go for. Maybe he brings out something spicy.
Let's see. One more second on that. It's
I just said something nice and spicy, and I was thinking just before that we will probably end up seeing an Ornn from Sleeping, but I really wanted that to be a certain situation where the player comes up with something really like unique in his head or something, but just going to be the Ornn, safe tank in the top lane, and is an absolutely fine matchup into the Gnar, unless he gets like ganked 5,000 times in the early game, but it gives you that scaling aspect as well.
Plays really well into the team fight, so you can't really hate the Ornn here, but I mean, you know, you always want to see top laners kind of stand up to the 1v1 challenge, I suppose. But overall, I like both compositions. I'm trying to think which one I like more. I think Forth will definitely, looking at the paper, seems more reliable. It's clear, like, once you get to the late game, once you manage to group up, as long as your carries aren't behind, you should be fine, really, in most of the cases.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this Zin and the Orianna, and it's such a hard time for Zin realistically to play many of these team fights or even any of the plays. I don't think you're going to get much out of the combination of the Zin Orianna realistically when you've got a Lilia who has like ridiculous move speed and is just running around you, and then you've got the Ornn who's just a big tanky frontliner, and the rest of the team is absolutely fine. I do really like the fourth wall side. I think it's some really nice answers into what Vanir have picked, and it all looks like it makes sense as well. On the side of Vanir, they've kind of gone what seems like really high priority in the meta with like the Orianna, the Renekton, the Xayah to some degree as well. But yeah, it's just putting those pieces together. You've got the really high pro. Can you make them work with adding the Zin and then the Nautilus in there as well into what 4-4 have picked as well?
Yeah, and I think the time of the game where we're going to be looking at is going to be this early, at least for me. I want to see Zin generate some leads because, as you said, the setup might be a little bit iffy, but as long as you manage to snowball them, I mean, the only Lilia, I'm not sure about Varus, but the only Lilia definitely takes some time to really come online in the game, so you have that window, especially topside, if you can somehow, shutting down a Nord is a bit of a misnomer, but if you can get the Renekton in the head.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those things where you're like, yeah, just put the Ornn behind.
Yeah,
and then you go top lane and he's a tank and he has loads of help, and then he hits like an assassin sometimes, and you're like, well, how does this make sense? And then it's just all you hear is the Forge God blow his horn, and you know it's all over. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see. Obviously, Vanir have had a lot longer as well as a team together, so they have had that more experience than Fourth Wall have. Fourth Wall, luckily, have also had play-ins to play together. So both teams sort of coming in with quite equal amount of experience together. So we shouldn't really see the kind of the difference in that sense, which I think we saw in Ruddy versus GT. It did seem like GT were a lot more put together in terms of what they wanted to achieve, whereas Ruddy, loads of roster changes. Have they scrimmed as much as they did? We're not sure. So this one should hopefully be a even matchup between these two.
Fingers crossed. The game has been paused. This is why the prolonged wait, but it does look like we will be going finally onto the Summoner's Rift first game of the day. Vanir Fourth Wall. It's a best of 3. He's going to strike first. Beautiful angle there.
Yes, lovely from our wonderful observer, giving us a lovely view of the fourth wall lineup as they line up in their fountain, ready for battle on Summoner's Rift. We are just staring at their base at the moment, but oh, there we go, a bit of dark vision, and there's Mr. Grave Pass. So, yeah, normal battle lines. We have been seeing quite a lot of 5-man movements to kind of reclaim vision. A lot of vision is prioritized at the moment on the red side's kind of like chickens and red buff that area. We see a lot of wards being dropped there as we're seeing Katano move down, so we might be seeing that happen. But there is a red ward right there placed by Cast to spot that out if they do want to go for any form of late invade.
Yeah, it will be spotted, but let's see if the move will be made. No sweepers yet. Interestingly enough, Cast deciding not to recall after dropping that word, and Harbo walking forward.
Yep.
Some bit of counter vision here. We also saw on the minimap Fade dropping that word on the Raptors. So we'll provide an early bit of vision if Pappy Bad is going to be patting bot side.
Yeah, but in this scenario, Cass knows that the ward has been placed down there, whereas like Veneer will have no information that a ward has been placed there. So Cass knows that he's on vision doing chickens, and it's probably expected as well for the Lilia to be doing chickens first. So we will have both teams knowing where each jungler has started, but the difference will be that fourth wall will be able to see if Pivot wants to go for any cheeky level 3s or anything, because they'll see him on his chickens relatively soon. But yeah, nothing too crazy happening in the Ruddy GT series. We saw loads of fiestas around level 1, so both of these rosters a lot more calmer in the sense that they're not going to just throw the game within 3 minutes.
Indeed, we have focused on the bot lane a lot early on, and it was just MXC and Grave Pass zoning the Veneer bot lane away from the wave. They do hit level 2, push in, get some vision, the wave is going to be picked up, and yeah, it looks like all the laners fairly content with just farming for the time being. No major surprises. Let's see when the junglers are going to make their move. Both of them clearing towards the bot side, Cast taking the Krugs as well, and yeah, there we go. Pappy Bat now spotted taking the Raptors.
Yep, and that's just going to feed information right over to Cast and this bot lane. They'll be able to just push it under the tower, and they're going to just play a lot safer. The lovely little ward there. I wouldn't even know what you call that. Just to spot if Pivot wants to go for anything after he finishes his Krugs. Lovely, thank you, Observer, for pointing out what I couldn't actually explain using words because English, but we are seeing an engage.
Indeed, Flash is traded support for the ADC, very much worth it for the fourth bot lane, but now the hook. You try and get some return damage. He is going to remat as the ignite dropped onto the X. Draw Flash forward from the Grave Pass, but it does not have the damage. The turret shot making it quite even all things round, and what started pretty good from fourth wall cost them all their stamina. They gain only 3 in return.
Yeah, just as I was saying how this game differed to the other game in this group where we saw loads of chaos in the early stages, the bot lane want me to eat my words and then just say, right, we're going to fight now. A really good initial engage from Maxi there on the rail, gets the flash out of Liam Cole, and you kind of think there, okay, it's over. They forced the flash out of the ADC. They're just going to kind of chill, wait for the jungler to come down and help. But we are seeing Katano contest Cast on the top scuttle, and Pivot is here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cast went the wrong way, and that's going to flash forward. First blood kill in the mid lane, traded back with a support roam though, and Maxi just barely alive.
Yeah, just barely alive. Obviously, Maxi didn't have the flash there as well, and the flash has been blown by Harbo in the mid lane, so that's going to make the Orianna a little bit more susceptible to any future ganks from either Maxi or Cass if they decide to go back into the mid lane. Fade didn't have to use his flash there, so he'll have that advantage over Harbo. But yeah, I mean, it just gets caught there. Cass taking the top scuttle. Kitano makes a lovely roam down, gets all the information, and Pivot will gladly take that kill into his back pockets.
Indeed, overall, quite an even end result. However, sleeping is full build. Got that brown and blue vest in the inventory. Although actually Kitano doing pretty well on the health department. Cast is towards topside. There's no vision. Kitano, you gotta get out of there right now, but with 300 HP, that might be a little bit too late. Slowed down, still has the flash, and is going to dodge away from the swirl seed, and yeah, flash burn, good gank.
Yeah, nicely done there from Cast. Recognizes that the Ornn is a super assassin and can trade relatively well into Renekton as well. Blows the flash as well. Can we see a repeat gank from Cast up into the top lane? We'll have to see in a bit of time, as he's going to be running straight down to his bot side to take those camps. Pivot will also be in the bot side jungle as well, so we might see some form of gank or potential fight around this bot lane, because obviously from that bot lane play, no one has flashes.
Indeed. And yeah, the support ignites have come back up, so we have more damage there than previously. And you see Maxi walking around, setting up the vision, looking to make an opening for Cast. Find a way back into this bot lane. This ward in the river is going to expire in 10 or so seconds. I'm not entirely sure. Just eyeballing it.
Yeah,
That
some
was
really
pretty
nice.
cool. Okay.
I think you're almost spot on there. But yeah, loads of vision on this bot side for Veneer. So they did support Cass doing his gromp there on that ward, and they're pinging it now. So they definitely know something's up, because they haven't seen Cast for a little bit of time now. He is, I think, still hiding. There he is, just lurking in the bushes. He is going to back. That is a lot of time kind of wasted from him, and that's given Pivot loads of information, and he's going to be able to take the chickens because he knows that Cast is still in the bot side.
Yeah, so aggressive trading in from Fate. Still has that flash advantage, so trying to use it as much as possible. But now who's that in the mid lane? Let's see. Fate should be able to just walk this one out. You have to imagine has to burn the flash, actually. Shockwave used as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the idea behind the Xin Orianna matchup, and that's kind of the same as we were seeing with the Jarvan Orianna kind of pairing. So obviously they're going for something similar, where Xin can kind of give a direct route for the Orianna ball to go in. But obviously Fade still has his flash up from the earlier play. Harbo doesn't, so that will be burnt from the Yone. So we might see a repeat gank, but that is an ultimate down for Orianna. But Fade is perfectly happy just chilling in the mid lane currently.
Gonna go for a aggressive one. I thought there maybe was a chance to use the ulti, but too close to the tower. You don't really want to risk it this early in the game, as bot lane just keeps on fighting, I suppose. Grave Past has dropped that ultimate from what I can see. Ignite used as well. And they're going to shove this wave in. No mana on the Varus, so I don't expect further hostilities to continue.
Yeah, flashes back up for both ADCs as well. Obviously, the supports have Hex Flash, so they have a bit of a different timer going on there. So yeah, both of them have it up, so that kind of window to punish. But we are seeing a solo bolo from Mr. Fade in the mid.
So clean, stacking up the Q on the Raptors, going for the play, the ult, and yeah, simple as Harbo didn't. I don't know if the flash has just come up or didn't get the chance to use it, but either way, 2-0 on the Yone.
Yeah, 2-0 on the Yone is a very, very scary thing to be looking at. Harbo obviously got the first pick, decided to go down the Orianna route, and Fade has gone, you can first pick Orianna. If you think it's really strong, I can just better you on a champion that I'm more proficient in. So doing really well on this Yone. Going to be a very key part of this fourth wall team kind of going further into this game. We'll have to see if Harbo can get anything going. Obviously, he's had one kind of attempt gank from Pivots that didn't really net anything other than a flash being burnt from Fade, and there's not really been any other attention to this mid lane since that.
Bot lane of fourth wall now moving up. Pivot gonna be spotted on that word, and the ambush is happening. There's the stun into the knockup. Fade over the wall, flash away from the Veneer jungler. Going to defuse the situation, but the Xin just isn't allowed to get things done right now. We're 10 minutes in the game, just one kill, even CS. A far cry from what we wanted to see from this Veneer composition.
Yeah, he's struggled in a sense to be able to get anything going in these lanes. As we said, both of the flashes were down in the bot lane, no real pressure there. Tried to make a gank in the mid lane. Fade was able just to flash out that one. He did get the kill on Cass, so he's not completely out of this game, but would have liked to see a little bit more proactivity. As I'd say that, he is right in this mid lane where he should be.
No flash, no ult on Fade, going to go forward, tagged by the shockwave, and the damage is coming through the
Oh,
shield though!
wow.
And they hop away, he's safe.
Yep, safe and sound for Mr. Fade. The power and the annoyance of the Yone, when you think you've locked him down or you think you've got him low enough, but we are seeing a trade in the bot.
Yeah, flash forward, Maxi gonna be the one to take the kill with Ignite. Both summoners down from Liam Cole though. Definitely a regank potential down the line after the reset.
Yeah, both. It seems like we got a Grave Pass ultimate coming out there, or maybe a max stun that's forced the cleanse out of Liam Cole there, and Drop's obviously gone down there in an attempt to save his ADC, which he is able to do. Sadly, Maxi gets that kill. You would have loved to have seen that go either on the Varus or the Lilia. Lovely targets to have some kills donated over to, but you kind of want to just get the kill there. You don't really want to have the same happen to you as Fade being able to escape or X-Drop being able to escape.
Indeed. First Dragon was picked up at some point in the last few minutes. It is the Chemtech fourth wall getting their hands on it. I mean, we're all looking at this mid lane. Supports are roaming around, junglers are converging in as well. Harbo still has the flash. Cast going to go over the wall, still holding the sleeve. That's going to be the hook that creatively found there. Shockwave interrupting the jump away, forces Max's flash. And it's going to be it? Maybe. He's playing dangerously.
They do not want you to finish that point, these teams. But yeah, very interesting decision. You could see Cast wanted to get the kind of sleep onto the Orianna as well. Wasn't really happy with just having it on the Nautilus, but we have seen Kitano TP into the top lane. He has used ult as well, but he's not really going to be able to kill the Ornn, even if he is under half HP.
Teleport for flashes. I mean, don't even need a return gang, just 2v1. Be enemy AD carry. I guess the Warwick's ultimate was still on cooldown, so precious little that Azak could have done, and Fade! Just gonna solo kill Harbo, third time this game that the Yone gonna get a kill, and damn, not even having the support saved Harbo here.
No, exactly, and you can see there, X-Drop has completely left his ADC with no flash, no cleanse, and he's obviously looking for a roam somewhere. But his ADC dies, and then the person who he's roaming to also dies. So what have you really achieved from the roam? It's a lovely punish from Forefall as well there.
Yeah, it's just a disaster scenario if you're the support, and now sleeping. Oh my god, it's the assassin Ornn.
Oh, he's here to play. As you said, he's already reached his power spike, so he's doing a lot of damage. And poor Kitano, he uses his TP to come back into lane to try and get something, and then he gets his health absolutely chunked out by an Ornn as well. He is going to stay to try and take this next wave, I think. But yeah, not the best time for Kitano in the top lane currently as this Crocodile.
Basically, even CS now going to lose a play as well. Good damage onto sleeping. Tara Dagger was not triggered. I thought for a second there that might have went onto the Ornn instead of the minion. But yeah, it kind of shows you that you still have to respect, of course, the Renekton damage sleeping doing a good job at that. Nothing to criticize here.
No, exactly. Sleeping's playing this matchup as well as you can for an Ornn into Renekton. Not a lot really going on. It's kind of one of those snooze fest, especially for Kitano, who's playing a Renekton who wants to try and get ahead and bully. But this is horrible to watch for Harbo. Doesn't even get the kill for that. The tower shot is going to send Fade packing and not looking for any more. But yeah, Harbo really not having a fun time so far in this game. If we could we get a little pan over to the gold after Veneer? Look like they're making a play. We have got the gold up now. It is a 1k advantage for Fade in that mid lane. I'm just trying to see where the rest of the gold. I mean, Pivot is doing really really well in that aspect. Having to match the Lilia as well can always be somewhat tricky in some senses. But yeah, quite even footing in terms of gold currently, but the kills are definitely in Forefall's favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first herald did get placed in the mid lane.
Yeah,
They
nothing.
did not do much.
No net worth for that herald. No plates were taken on the side of Veneer, so that is very sad. You prioritize that. But we are seeing a gank in the top lane. Sleeping has overextended on this tower to try and take it. We have Pivot and Kitano are here. Max has
Let's see.
arrived.
Plated Steel Cow's Bramble Vest.
He's just still alive.
Yeah, he's just not going to die to 280 champions.
Wow.
I am sorry, Veneer, but it's not going to happen. Fade with a double. And they only continue to get fed.
Yeah, I mean, initially you're like, it's a great call if the champion was any other champion than an Ornn. And you had any other, I guess, different champions, or maybe more Fed members than a Xin and a Renekton, but you could just see that. I mean, Sleeping was just chilling the whole time. He was getting collapsed by 2 members of Veneer, and great response from 4-4. Max with a fantastic roam to join the fight at the top lane, and that is first tower blood over to the Forge God himself.
Here's the problem for Veneer. Your only source of real AP damage is currently 0 and 3 yet to finish any items. I don't exactly see who is going to be killing the Ornn. I mean, obviously we're 17 minutes in the game, so you're going to eventually kill him. But as we progress later and later in this game, it's just going to be a little bit of a nightmare, it feels like.
Yeah, he's going to be a horrible nightmare that someone's going to have to deal with. I mean, Renekton might be able to like match him on the side lane, but he's never really going to be in any danger is Sleeping unless he ridiculously overextends and then 1v5s. But at that point, 4-4 should be able to get something done across the map. But yeah, 4-4 in a very commanding state at the moment. They've gotten everything that they've really wanted to get out of this kind of early game. Their top laner has been in no danger. Their mid is super ahead at this stage right now. Varus as well has been absolutely chilling in the bot lane. Would have loved to have had those 2 kills, but I mean, we've got the carry rel coming out, so I mean...
If it works, it works.
Exactly.
No need to question it further. I do also want to point out Infernal Rift has been here for almost 3 minutes. At this point, both teams on 1 dragon, which means Infernal stacking is going to become a thing. If this even goes... Yeah, I mean, Harbo is... Killing spree rail. I mean, hey, what more do you want to see? That's the kind of support performance we love. Now, you don't want to give that gold up right now. Okay, it goes on to extra. Let's go. We're keeping it within the support.
Oh no, Veneer! Oh no, you're Harbour and you think you're safe between your 2 towers. Nope, there is a Rel and a Yone, and then you lock down the Rel there. We are just seeing a trade onto the Ornn, but they really don't kill him here, and they have a real worry of overextending with the Yone and the Lilia still being in the facility. But as I was saying, you catch the Rel. He's got a reasonable shutdown, and it goes onto your Nautilus. It's not coming up Veneer at all so far in this game.
Yeah, they've been losing all the small coin flips, and extra. I'm gonna enjoy that little bit of extra gold. More control words to buy potentially. I mean, maybe going to
exactly. Oh,
I think Sleeping could die here. Yeah, this is looking kind of dangerous. Call of the Forge God going to be used, but Cast is here to help. And
no!
Go to sleep.
This is going to be one sad Croco, and that is a kill over to Cast. Again, it's one of those, I can kill him! Oh, no, I can't. Yeah. It's an Ornn.
I mean, it's 251 armor. You're not killing him. 3,000 HP. So, yeah, that means that against physical damage, you've got around 7,500 effective HP.
Yes,
that's just not really happening at 20 minutes with a 1.5 item Renekton.
Yeah, and the Rift Herald, the second Rift Herald, is going to be placed in this top lane. We are seeing a rotation coming from both sides. Orianna is in the bot lane and Ornn is there as well. So the likelihood of us actually seeing a fight is very minimal. We are seeing a couple pings over to this kind of barren pit area, but it's just going to be nothing other than just gaining some vision for when that eventually spawns in 10 seconds.
Can they rush it? I mean, you've got two, Infinity Edge Kraken Slayer. You've got Varus. That is,
There is a
Good
TP
call.
from Yone as well. Yone has TP to the Baron Pit. We might see a shift of priority over to this dragon. Harbo has caught sleeping, but he's able just to walk away. And
No,
the whole of fourth wall is here, Vanir. You have to be careful.
if there was Call of the Forge God, you have to imagine the way they lined up. There maybe was an angle, but remember, we don't have flash on Grave Pass right now. The Varus has basically been playing Farming Simulator, but still, if you get a pick, if you're Veneer 4 versus 5, suddenly your chances are looking a lot better. So you have to keep that in mind as the team's going to clear waves in the mid lane. Fourth wall moving down towards the dragon. Cooldowns coming back up. All the ultimates. Almost all the flashes.
Yeah, we're seeing just a give here from Veneer.
Yeah.
They don't want to contest the dragon. It isn't soul point or even soul for fourth wall because they were able to take the cloud cell. I was a little bit worried that fourth wall had left their back timers a bit too long because Veneer were able to get into the river and into the mid lane a lot quicker than them. They were because they were making that top side play. But yeah, just a give. I think that's probably the correct thing for Veneer to be able to do at this stage of the game. They need to just keep farming and see if they can catch someone and hope to not get caught in return, overextending to try and kill an Ornn again, maybe. They just need to find some way back into this game, whether it's a Baron flip or something.
I mean, if there is a champion that I'm always looking at and saying you can flip a team fight, it is going to be that Orianna at some point. Once Harpo has items under the belt, if you can find a shockwave, the only real tank on the side of fourth wall is that Ornn. I mean, Rel, of course, is going to get tanky in the late game, especially if she's able to proc the aftershock. But yeah, if you can catch out the carries, set them up for Liam Cole to just lay down the DPS, then I guess that's a way that Veneer can try. And so long as they keep buying themselves time, there's always that possibility.
Yep, and Katana's doing the really good thing here. He's just taken a tower top and he's been able to take another one in the bot side. So that is a lot more kind of gold being able to go over to him in a sense. So able to match the Ornn, who's just headbutting into walls currently, but he does not mind. We are seeing a lot of contention over this mid lane prio, so a lot of kind of hovering around the Baron is gonna happen, forcing TPs. That's the kind of state of the game we're in without any dragon really on the map.
This is going to be a double sleep. This is going to be the goal button. Massive magnet storm, and that's a 3-4-0. Going to be the teleport coming through as well. Baron Cole, you have to imagine. Kanado will be pushing in the ball lane to respond, but clean, easy, just beautiful gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, that, I don't think there's any other words other than beautiful there from fourth wall. That was simply a beautiful play, really nice and decisive as well. We are seeing a TP having to come out from Kitano, otherwise he would have been caught by a Yone and a Rel that were hungrily barreling down on him. So yeah, great play from fourth wall. They get everything. 3 kills. Your Yone's ridiculously fed. The Lilia's now probably compensated and overtaken Pivot, who we were saying was having a really nice early game, and this gold lead is it's got a risk of exploding currently.
I mean, Baron buff and still, only 3 towers taken. There's a lot of standing gold on the map for fourth wall to really make sure they're in an unlosable position in this game right now. Only, 6,000 is not an only, but it's definitely not completely insurmountable. Especially, you still have to pay respect to Kitana. I also do want to point out that Pivot Band got that Spear of Shojin.
Oh, yeah.
So if someone is isolated, not if it's sleeping. Like, if anyone else is isolated, then you can go for it. But Ornn is not the target that you want because you're just going to have the ultimate sleeping. Does whiff it, and the fight breaks out. The Ornn down to half health. Fate from the side, looking for a way to go, and sleeping has to flash away. Kitana trying to follow it through. The Hellas on Veneer are getting low too, but they're trying to get anything at all, and it just falls flat.
It's so hard for Veneer. You can tell the comms are. Oh, we are seeing more.
Yeah, that's the depth charge. Flash heal away. Sleeping's gonna die. There we go. The Ornn is dead. Maxi going over the wall. Yeah, nothing else is going to happen. Fourth one gets a kill.
Yep.
No, they lose a kill.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
no, my bad, yeah.
the big tank in the top lane has fallen. That's a positive for Veneer. You have to take those at this stage in the game. Yeah, it took a lot. I don't think we can sugarcoat any of it. It did take an awful lot in order to secure the kill. It was one of those where they were kind of having to do a lot, but at any point you were so fearful that fourth wall could just turn it and then it'd be an ace. So it was a very, very teetering team fight, to say the least.
Absolutely. But also both summoners out from Grave Pass. This is something I want to pay attention to, because if X-Drop finds another depth charge like that, that is going to be the AD carry dead. Now, Grave Pass, not the main carry of this game. I don't want to make that point again, really. But if you get rid of one of the 3 damage dealers, maybe a quarter of the damage, suddenly these fights are looking a lot more playable, especially 2 items hit on everyone on the side of Veneer. Now, they are behind, not massively so, and yeah, my eyes still are though on Fade. That's kind of the point I was dancing around and thinking if there is any natural segue. No, we're just gonna go into Fade. 3 items, got a stopwatch, 6-0-3. I mean, an absolute powerhouse this game. Really.
Yes, yeah, I think there's not really any way other to describe a current 6-0 Yone in the mid lane who has had the run of the map. We are seeing the 3rd dragon for 4-4 being taken as well, so they are now on soul point. So the timer for Veneer to crawl back into this game is getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. They don't have to worry now about the Baron buff, so they can now start pushing the lanes up. And they do catch Max there, trying to back in a bush.
Should be dead. No, you cannot let them live. That is... Oh my god, you tried support flashes, which I suppose getting rid of Rail Flash gives you some relative safety, but to be fair, it was only extra flash. I guess not too many resources committed. Veneer had the priority mid, but Cast is really threatening that. You can see Sleeping coming in. Oh, the Forge got on the side. The Focus is going to be pretty bad, and X drop right into the Fade, going godlike. And just like that, we're dead.
This is just super clean from fourth wall. They are punishing everything that Veneer are trying to do, and it is started very much as it has continued. Fourth wall haven't let their foot off the gas. A lot of teams, especially newly created teams, do struggle when you go into the late or the mid stages of the game with kind of how to progress their lead. But fourth wall have kind of just hit the accelerate and really showed up in this game.
Yeah, they still haven't broken open the base of Veneer, but they're scaling just fine. This Infernal Soul is going to be up in 3 minutes. Baron in 1 minute is more what I'm looking at, because if they get a fight around it too, that could be game ending us. Oh, there we go. We are back. But yes, Baron in a minute. Veneer really cannot afford to mess up. You lose the fight here, you lose the Baron, you just lose the game. There isn't really much else to say about this.
Yeah, there's not really much to sugarcoat. I do think we're almost even maybe one team fight away from witnessing the end of this game. So Veneer do have to play very safe and very measured in order not to just kind of throw it needlessly. They will have to contend these next objectives that are coming up. And Pivot, you cannot go for vision there. That is really not your side of the map to be walking up.
Yeah, danger is there, but still had the flash. Portal didn't feel like winning their own. So yeah, they're going. It's just the Baron then. So you're going to push up, you're going to get the vision, then push up again, and now suddenly Veneer had to clear the wave. They have to walk into the vision, and the Baron has. Wait, no, it's not good. God damn it! Now it's going to be started. But Pivot is behind the wall. This could turn into a flip. Let's see. Fourth wall. Turning it back around. Call it Forge, but only finding Mark onto 1. No one has died just yet. The first kill is going to be the supports being traded. And there it goes down. The Renekton, the front line collapsed. Veneer and retreat. And it's only Harbor left alive. Going to fall down. You have to imagine ace for 1. And yeah, fourth wall. Victory lap. They're going to walk down into the base.
Yeah, really clean from fourth wall. A lot of the teams that we've been seeing, not only in this kind of competition, but kind of through play-ins as well, have been throwing a lot of Baron kind of contests and everything. So really great, decisive communication there from fourth wall, just to be like, look, we're baiting them in, we're turning and fighting, we are so much stronger than them, and we are just going to beat them in a 5v5, and we're just going to go end the game.
Simple as that. Nexus is going to be open. Still 4 seconds of pivot. One more kill. Onto X drop and fourth wall. Clean game one, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they can be really happy with it. Come on, finish the game. There we go. 30 minutes on the clock. Game one, fourth wall strike first. So red side still undefeated in Group B. Is essentially what we can say.
Exactly, and it'll be interesting now. Veneer have had one draft. We'll see if they decide that blue side isn't the one, and whether they're going to kind of commit to our kind of meta that we've decided this group has, where red side just wins easy. But yeah, very clean game from fourth wall. I guess on the Veneer side, one massive positive: you don't have to face the Yone again, and you don't have to face the Lilia or the Ornn or the Rel, because they were all massive issues for you. But luckily, you don't have to face any of those again. On the sad side, you don't get Xayah, you don't get Orianna, you don't get Renekton, which are massive champions that can work in a different kind of drafting scenario. So we will be seeing a kind of a change up in draft, but we'll have to see maybe what Veneer can pull out the bag, because that was just clinical from fourth wall.
Yeah, I mean, we said kind of after the draft, Veneer, they really needed to get the Xin rolling. They didn't. At the very least, the question we're not asking is, okay, are they going to keep the draft? No, they won't. They cannot pick any of those champions. So we're going to see, are they going to commit to a different style? Now, that's a different question. Are they still going to pick like an early ganking jungler? Or maybe something like Jarvan, which hasn't seen much priority at all, is what I'm definitely curious about. But yeah, red side won, play and buff. We're hitting all the notes so far.
Yep, exactly. So that is game one, obviously. So we are going to be heading it to the break. And as we said, we have loads of questions for game two. Will we see a Veneer on red side? Will we see a change up in all the drafts? They can't pick the same champion. So what will they pick? Who knows? But stick with us and we'll go into game two.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time.
a prize. All up on your head, do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, straight up villain. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up villain, straight up villain. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Alive, but I'm dead. Hear my voice up in your head. Watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Is it really a surprise if I'm playing with your mind and I treat you like a prize? Then I throw you to the side. And am I really that bad if I love to make you mad and get happy when you're sad? Only care about a bad and control. That's how I like it, and I'm never letting go. No, never had a soul, so you ain't taking nothing from me when you go. No, I stay so deep inside your brain and take you somewhere far away. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die. Type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head. Do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, straight up villain. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up villain, straight up villain. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. But I'm dead, you know what's up in your head. Watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Bang, bang, you can do anything. No fear, no pain. Listen to your brain go. Go stupid, go dumb, go stupid, and then we go insane. Whoa. Just do what I say, follow me, I lead the way. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die. Type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head. Do just what I said. I'm straight up villain, straight up villain. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up villain, straight up villain. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Life, but I'm dead. Hear my voice up in your head. Watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Coming round again. You want a dose of this? Right now it's KD8. I'm a goddess with a blaze. 소리처럼 내 이름 잊지 못하게. Loud, 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 loud. I could take you to the top. 절대 멈추지 못해. 내가 끝내주는 bad gal, gal, gal. And when I started talk like that, oh, you know how to read
Hello and welcome back after the break, everyone. Fourth Wall have taken the Game 1 win. And let's see if they can close out the series or if we'll be going back to the game. Whatever, if we'll be going to the Game 3. I have managed to scout the intro. Kaya, any predictions for this game?
Well, because it's fearless, it could be anything. We don't
True.
really know. So, whereas we could say the Veneer have to rethink, obviously, the way they draft. No, they really do need to rethink the way they draft because they can't use the same champions. But then on the other side, as we alluded to at the end of the last game, Fourth Wall also have to rethink their draft. They don't have the Ornn. They don't have the ability to pick the Rel as well. So that's a massive kind of B1 potential champion that they don't have. And now that we found out from production that Veneer have decided to pick red side, we will be seeing Fourth Wall on blue side. So it'll be a very interesting debate between them of what they count as B1able.
Yeah, and also another interesting dynamic that is now suddenly at play is you're on blue side. You're going to have to ban some of those champions that you have picked last time. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rel being taken off the board even on blue side just because you can't pick it. And suddenly you don't want to give that over to your opponents who might just, help themselves in phase 1. Also, the fact that lowers you is off the table, so you can't just B1. Well, I mean, you can B1 Rakan and deny it from Veneer. That is a strategy you can go for, but you can't guarantee it yourself later on. And
I mean, there are still loads of picks that we haven't seen. Tristana was banned away. Senna has been a one in this patch that has kind of been creeping in. Some people think that she's pretty strong. Others don't think that she's really going to be able to break the kind of Xayah, Kai'Sa sort of meta that we've had for a little bit of time now, since the kind of Aphelios stuff was going on. Some interesting picks are definitely for sure. It'll be interesting, like you said, to see whether both teams keep the exact same bans. We saw a lot of focus on the side of Fourth Wall, or was it? I think it was on the side of Veneer, where they targeted a lot of kind of the kind of unique champion picks that we've seen from these players, like the Ashe that we saw ban away from the side of Veneer. Will they keep those same bans, or like you said, will they switch it up and ban other champions that they believe are B1able that are open to Fourth Wall? They can pick an Orianna as well. We saw Veneer try it. It didn't really work out. They paired it with a Xin Zhao rather than like a Jarvan or something like that, and it didn't work out. But we might see Fourth Wall now decide that that's the route that they want to go as well.
Indeed, and now that we have seen, of course, Fourth Wall play a team fighting composition, they don't have 5 champions that work well in team fights. Veneer have picked up a lot of power picks, some of the early game champions that they're not going to have available, but generally, teams often commit to some kind of identity throughout the best of series. Now, if you are, I think this applies more to Fourth Wall than Veneer, you lose out a lot of team fight picks. Are you going to still go for a composition that likes to group up as 5, that likes to have those big setups? If so, what kind of champions are you going to pick? It is very much a question we have to ask ourselves, as I do believe I have heard we are going into the draft. So, hopefully.
Yep, relatively soon. Here we go.
I heard Ivern ban. I think stream can't hear it, so I am definitely spoiling, and I don't know all the voice. Okay, yeah, Ivern Jace.
Ivan Jace. Yep, so again, straight away we've had a switch up. Not from the side of Fourth Wall, they're sticking to their same opening bans from the last game, so banning the Ivan, banning the Syndra. Don't want to really be seeing that in the hands of Pivot or Harbo. Massive picks for them. Again, the side of Veneer have banned the Tristana. We saw that in game 1, so that kind of gives us a hint that they just don't play it, or they just really don't want to see Fourth Wall play it. So we're going to go into the last bans. The last ban Veneer prioritized was the Ashe, so we might have seen a rotation away from that. They also banned the Belveth for Fourth Wall. Again, another target ban at Pivot, but we do have the Belveth open now, so it will be interesting to see if we see it come out. Will Veneer keep Grave Past's Ashe open?
Yeah, or maybe they want to leave it open because they have some kind of counter pick prepared. Of course, that's something you can play on the red side, is say, okay, we're going to leave your champion up for you to pick, because we're just waiting to see when you're going to pick it in draft and if we can. Nope, never mind. Screw that strategy. But Zed applies. That was a pick. That was a band that definitely stood out to me. They're going to steal the Belvet.
Wow, so this is definitely something that they've talked about. They've said on red side we're going to ban the Belvev, on blue side we're going to keep it open and we deem it B1able. So now it'll be very interesting on the side of Veneer what you're going to pick into it, as Pivot is a massive Belvev player, so might know some secret champions that are really good into it. We are seeing a Poppy Hover, obviously that can rotate, but we are seeing a Gragas lock-in.
Yeah, I mean, with the barrel, of course, whenever Belvet goes into her rage or, whatever you want to call that, just going to knock her out of it. So I like this pick, assuming this goes into the jungle. Now, what else are they going to go for? Gragas, pretty good initiator, and you have the option of a lowers. Your fourth wall cannot steal Desire. No, never mind. No, it's the other way around. God damn it. Okay. I thought I just jumped on there.
Yeah, so Veneer take the other half of the Levis duo. Obviously, as we've said, they picked Zaya in the last game, so can't pair that up with the Rakan. Interesting with the Gragas as well, it can be played top by Kitano as well.
Okay.
So there is the flexibility on that side. As you said, can affect the Belveth and what she's trying to do. So it'll be interesting to see whether Kitano or Pivot will pick that one up. We are seeing a Nautilus lock-in. Obviously, X-Drop can't pick that at all, but the likes but obviously with the Rakan lock-in already, they have picked the Nautilus into it, which is a very handy matchup, but we'll see if they want to pick something to go alongside it. We saw the Zaya Nautilus in the last game and it didn't really go very well for Veneer, but it's going to be potentially in the hands of Grave Pass and Max, so we might see a different outcome.
Potentially, they're going to go for it, and just kind of to recap on something, the Rakan pick here denies the Lovers duo, and Fort will decide, okay, we're not going to save it for game 3, we're going to pick it now, if at any point Aphelios.
Yes. If you need to know anything about Liam Cole as an ADC, his Aphelios is disgustingly good. I remember the first, maybe 5 or so games of NLC Div 1, it is all he picked and he looked extremely comfortable, extremely effective on the champion. So I'm really not surprised that they have decided to pivot into something that they know that their ADC can play at probably the highest level. We are seeing the second round of bans, Silas being taken away from the hands of Fade.
Yep, Olaf is still going to hit the ban table. And if you're Veneer, you kind of have to go for those picks that you know you're going to be comfortable on. Of course, a game down, you lose here, you're going into the elimination match against Ruddy. So you want to try and, game 3, of course, one step at a time. You have to take it. So, whatever you want. Now, Oriana would feel really nice here for Harbor with just the amount of engagement that you have. Of course, it's where we run into the Fearless draft. We're going to have to see.
Well, he can't pick it. Harbo cannot pick the Oriana, as you've alluded to. You said it looked really nice. Sadly, you're going to have to come up with something brand new in the mid lane. It's going to have to be a blind mid or top here. Fourth wall haven't picked either, so you are going into something blind. Rumble being banned away, Darius and Olaf banned, so definitely targeting the champ pool of Kitano, not believing the flexibility of the Gragas. We are seeing an Ari. Ari's still very comfortable in the meta at the moment as a mid lane that we see not every game, but very so often.
Can be, really good at picking off individual targets. If you can get a snowball rolling, of course, that's going to be working in your favor quite a lot. So, despite the Gragas Rakan, no kind of wombo combo composition being set up yet. I mean, I think with top lane you can still pivot into it, but a Kali.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bold one.
It definitely is, but when you kind of think back to how the last game went for the kind of matchup of Fade versus Harbo, it's one of those where I think Fade's just, confident, and he's just gone, oh, they've locked Akali, I want to, they've locked Ari, I want Akali in this matchup. Kennen being locked in for the top side, so that is Sleeping's champ. Be interesting to see whether the Gragas is going to go into the Kennen, whether it's going to go in jungle, what we're going to do here, Veneer.
They are thinking, it's Is Briar enabled?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yep,
that
it is
was
enabled.
certainly an option. But you kind of want some AD damage. I was going to say Kled
Oh, wow.
for that all in. I mean, this is just game
Nice.
2 of Fearless Draft, and I'm already seeing compositions that I don't think I would be expecting otherwise.
Yes, this is the beauty of a fearless draft. Obviously, Kitano's gone deep into his champ pool. He's seen the Kennen matchup, and he's brought out a tree. Obviously, we saw it get popularized in the latter stages of the LEC by Mr. Broken Blade in G2. We'll have to see how Kitano does for Veneer in the NLC now, bringing it out. Obviously, the Gragas, as you alluded to, is actually in the jungle. We had seen it kind of go into the top a lot more so than we have seen in the past, but Pivot is taking that one into the Belveth matchup. But where are your eyes kind of leaning towards? What's exciting? What we're going to focus on this game? Do you think?
Why not? Let's just start with the mid lane. Akali, Ahri, both
Mm.
champions with a lot of potential to kill as well as to rope, really. Because all these lanes look exciting, but I don't want to make that point because let's start from the mid lane. If you suddenly have either Akali or the Ahri opened up and they can go to top lane or bot lane and start snowballing this game, I feel like it's a viable route for both of these teams, which is something that you don't often see where the win conditions, at least early game, overlap.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And obviously, Ari provides a lot of mobility as well. So for Akali, it will be about can you hit your your E's, all of that fun stuff. But it's definitely going to be a very interesting one.
Yeah. Just information for all you dear viewers, there is a pause going on, so we'll be going to the game a little bit later. Veneer, ADC, microphone, Rogue. And we're pausing now. I mean, okay, I guess in draft you can type, so fair enough. But
that'll do it for you.
So, what about the Clyde versus Cannon matchup? How are we? Why not? Let's talk more about it. Like, what are we expecting here? How can maybe other picks influence that happening?
Yeah, it's a very interesting one because they're not champions we relatively see. I think Kennen very much is coming back into the meta. He is definitely one of those champions that has kind of been rotated in and out, but is now back in. So it's a very exciting time. Obviously, as we've alluded to, Kled is a very interesting one. We don't see it very much. We have seen it, like I said, pulled up by Broken Braid. I think it'll be one of those which comes down to the players themselves. How used to the matchup are they? Obviously, on the side of Kitano, he had the kind of he had the chance to be able to pick into the matchup, whereas the Kennen was picked blind. So obviously this is something that Sleeping is very comfortable with, but Kitano's been able to see that and gone, I'm very comfortable into this matchup. So as is the way with obviously Veneer having red side, there is that counter matchup for them, and we are back into Summoner's Rift.
We are indeed. Let's see. Game 2, fourth wall, 1 win away from going into the qualification match against Gran Turismo. Let's see if they can close the series out or if we'll be going into the game 3. Some information. Apparently, Cast says, quote, "You won't like my Belvet build this game." Whatever that is. I mean, is it going to be one of those Jack Show builds? If so, then yeah, I won't like it. But, you know.
So that's definitely one to keep our eye on for the rest of this game. That's going to be a very interesting development to see which route. It's just great to see a very happy large man on Summoner's Rift, enjoying his time, even though he's 1-0 down in the series. Interesting Summoner's choice. Look at Fade's mid lane Summoner's choice.
Going for that Ignite instead of the Flash. I mean, Akali, a fairly slippery champion, especially after level 6, so you don't necessarily need it. And if you're trying to go for the solo kills, sure. Harbo also going for that, what's the name? First Strike, which is probably going to be more impactful later on, but also helping the assassination potential. So we are maxing out on damage. This is a tank-free zone. The only person who's going to be remotely tanky is Maxi, but it's an Nautilus with glacial movement, so I don't know how tanky really is going to get.
No, exactly. We'll have to see as the game kind of develops. X-Drop on the Nautilus wasn't really able to get much out of the pick. So we'll have to see how Max pilots it. But we are seeing a invade from the fourth wall bot lane. We saw them camping in a bush, waiting to see if Liam Cole or X-Drop would face check. Just looks like they're just gonna, show and flex their muscles in front of the Veneer jungler.
Yeah, I don't think that blue buff got reset, judging by the fact that PP had already managed to clear it, but trying to waste a little bit of time from the Gragas are going to miss out on the level 2, but, well, just gotta play defensively in the bot lane, that's it really. They have waited until I think level 3 last game before really making any plays, so shouldn't ruin too much of their plans.
Yeah, and it's just information that Fourth Wall have gained for themselves. They've obviously slowed the clear of the Gragas as well, so they have full. Oh, that was a very interesting hook from Max. What did that minion say to him? I wonder.
Could be many things. I think not all of them are very stream appropriate. But I do want to point out, actually, the Gragas clear being slowed down means that Cast is going to be finishing the full clear way faster than that. And mid lane is, quite volatile. I do want to point out, if you can find your way there. Top lane kindly pushing in, sleeping. So I don't think Cast really has anything to look at there.
Yeah, and it was really interesting just watching the map as well, the little mini map as well. There were loads of pings coming down on Pibibat as he was doing his chickens and rotating up to the red buff as well. So it's definitely shown that Fourth Wall know exactly where this Gragas is on the map. As we see, the Belveth has taken her topside camps and is now just checking Pibibat's Krugs, and he will see that they are gone. We are seeing a invade. Does he know?
Cast has to know that this red buff was being taken because the Krugs were already gone, and he knows that there's no way Gragas would have been able to full clear the whole side. So I like the little pathing there. Also, good job from Pibibat for taking the Krugs, because that means that he managed to get the full clear despite being put behind in tempo early on. But Grave Past and Max are going to deny the bottom Scuttle Crab, so still the jungle exploits from Fourth Wall are going to go their way.
Yeah, I mean, Fourth Wall, so Cast is able to take the top scuttle already to a small CS lead on that side. And I mean, Fourth Wall are just kind of harassing Pibibat at this stage of the game. A lot of kind of invades and vision being placed in his jungle. We are seeing a play in top side.
Katana gonna flash away, very close to that full bar. Kaz going underneath the car. It has to flash as the remount coming through from Katana. And flash on Belvet, not really a cooldown you want to throw away lightly.
Yeah, very interesting play. Obviously, you could see the idea there from Fourth Wall. Just Kitano, very slippery on this Kled, as we're seeing in these early stages. He has got to blow his flash. He does get the remount as well, but Cast also expends his flash in order to try and create something there. So nothing doing, flash for flash. Both mid laners are now going to get their back and their resets, and we should see them come back onto the map. Pibibat just there helping his mid laner get the push in so he can back. But he's just going to go back to clearing his bot side, hopefully without any more of these horrible Fourth Wall players interrupting him.
But the game, no kills yet. It's all very methodical, and I like the jungle movements. It is really interesting looking at the minimap this game, how Fourth Wall are trying to be proactive. But unfortunately for the main screen, there is no action happening just yet, and we're going to have Cast stealing away the Raptors, moving for the Krugs, and using essentially the priority that Sleeping has in this, matchup with range advantage to hopefully lead. What's going on there?
Yeah, Cast is playing this really nice, but they do know something is afoot here. Pibibat has seen his chickens are gone, but Cast, lovely little decision making there. It's almost like a Scooby-Doo type-esque situation where you're kind of like running between the doors, just kind of chasing each other, and you never really get him. He is so slippery on this Belveth.
Indeed, if you take a look at the gold, it is even across the board, which... Well, I mean, 300 gold lead overall, so only really the top lane, 150. it's a much slower start to this game, which with the amount of damage on one side you would be surprised, but then on the other, I guess it makes sense. You don't want to give the other team the opportunity to start snowballing because then, yeah, you don't have that many opportunities to really pull yourself back into this game.
Yeah, and I mean, from the first game as well, 4-4 were in pretty easy control throughout the game. We are seeing a play in the mid lane. It was a mischarm from Harbo, so he doesn't have this in this play. Bibibat does have flash, but doesn't have the ultimate. But it just does seem like Fade is able just to kind of run away from that play. Nothing really happening on that side of things. A couple of missed spells and that's all. That's kind of right. But in the bot lane,
Max going to get knocked up by Egg Drop, Grave Pass trying to drop down the damage. You've got the Aphelios Gans, a lot of chakrams though. Don't want to be overstaying your welcome in this trade. First dragon in Infernal, but because of how back and forth this game is in its nature, neither team able to really find an opening to start this objective yet.
yeah, Kitano is picked the Kled into this matchup, and he
Yeah.
seems to be struggling quite a fair bit. Obviously, had the flash blown early by the attempted gank by Cass, but kind of from the early stages to as you're seeing now, a CS lead has been accrued quite heavily in favor of the Kennen, in favor of sleeping in the top lane. So it'll be interesting to see how this kind of matchup keeps going because, as I alluded to, Kitano chose the Kled into Kennen, and he's not having the greatest of time so far.
Yeah, sleeping opting with the area, I was going to point it out earlier, maybe, but didn't really find the time to do it. But you have a lot of poke just consistently chipping away at Kitano's health bar, and the roams from the mid laners, maybe, at the very least, Harbo creating space for Liam Cole to pick up. Not sure if the first play was picked up earlier, but this one might be gone. No, it's still standing, but with Max and Grave Pass being zoned away from the turret, you have to imagine Aphelios will be getting that gold.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the kind of key player, I guess, for Vanir that you're wanting a lot of your gold to be sat on. This Aphelios has the potential to be outputting loads and loads of damage, as we all know Aphelios' love to do, obviously the whole 200 years. We are seeing the Herald was picked up by Cass, so he is able to back, and now he is rushing straight towards this bot lane. Fade is also lurking in the river, but I don't think he'll join in. We will see the Belveth try and look for something, as Pipibat will look to complete his back, so it is down to the bot lanes not to overextend. They got their play, they got what they wanted. They'll probably eventually back at this stage so that Liam Cole can go spend his gold.
Yeah. So 2 plates advantage, CS roughly even, but a lot of time committed from Vanir to try and get their AD carry ahead, which means that if Cast manages to find, well, I mean that just is a good Herald timing. Like,
yeah.
With this Herald, we have seen all that effort that Vanir put in. Essentially nullified, I think. Is it going to be solo plates? I am not entirely sure. The charge going to be in the top lane, sleeping, launching away, slancing mesh from Flash already. Beautiful timing there on all the cooldowns.
Yeah, really lovely patient play there from Sleeping. His flash and ultimate are used to pretty much perfection in that play. Obviously, you can see the idea there from Pivivat and Kitano to be able to make that play. They're looking to try and get Kitano maybe even back into this game, as we're not too sure what the comms are like, whether he's a little bit worried about the current state, with him not having the best time CSing versus the Kennen, with the kind of long range poke that it's able to continuously dish out. So yeah, very lovely done from Sleeping. He plays safe whilst his bot lane are making the kind of cross map play, and that's what you really want from your top lane. You want to be able to say, look, we're making this really good play. We've just dropped the Herald. We've got loads of plates now onto our Xayah. We're going to take Dragon. You need to play safe, and that's exactly what Sleeping has done for 4-4 there.
Yeah, I guess the only thing losing the flash opens up potential repeat ganks if PPBad wants to really try and nullify this lead that Kennen has found. I mean, 20 CS is of course a lot without much jungle intervention, but all it takes is a little bit of attention from the opposing jungler, and suddenly, that 20 CS might not mean too much. You can see Kitano still not enjoying life. Or, well, I mean, maybe, but this game definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't have too much luck in the last game as well, playing that Renekton into the Ornn. So bless him. He's having to play some very fun and interactive champions and matchups at the moment. But he is caught here from sleeping, and Cast is in the area.
Oh my god, what a beautiful interrupt. First blast from Cast. No blast cone for you.
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
Yep, and he is continuing. Max is here and has used the dredge line and is rotated down. And beautiful series of plays there from fourth wall.
Max rotating up, setting up the second kill, and now the Belveth is 2-0 and 0. The response is going to be, let's funnel the Aphelios more, which is the correct response. However, teleport into the bot lane coming in from Fade, and this is going to turn into a 4 versus 3 in favor of fourth wall. The AD carry is dueling on the bot side of the screen. Meanwhile, Peerpad getting low, extra flashes over the wall. Nobody has died just yet. The knockup on the turret Fade looking to finish off the kill. Wall had to retreat, and oh my god, that's the ignite, I think. It has to be Fate finding the gold and the kill. Liam Cole in no man's land and Cast with the third.
Oh wow, it's one of those plays where you're like, everyone's gonna get out or no one's gonna get out. Lovely decisive movement there from fourth wall. They make the play in the top side, they go to the mid, get the kill, then they go bot and they get another set of kills over to this Belveth. And what we were saying was a very calm, kind of centered early game has absolutely exploded, and it's straight back into fourth wall's favor.
Lead in the top lane, lead in the jungle. Small one in the mid lane, really just a token one. And the Aphelios is not ahead at all. I think this is, the gold summarizes the story of this game perfectly. Sleeping, finding a solo lead, essentially, in the top lane. Really well played. And Cast, after that first blood, just kind of doesn't stop.
Yeah, it's his map movement from that initial first kill. It's so decisive and so correct in that frame of mind. He's able to just make one play and he transitions it into so many really, really clean and good plays for 4-4. At the time as well, Kitano TP top, so you don't really have any answers to the Akali being able to TP. Harbo didn't TP to the fight, and it's just a panic, get out, get out, get out, and at that point they can't. Oh, this is hard for Kitano. The tower shot will connect, dismount as well, but he is just going to have to leave.
Yeah, and I do want to come back to the point, because yes, Cast is of course the person that we are praising, but that kind of clean map movement only comes on the back of the rest of the team working. I mean, Max was the other person that we have seen set up for the play in the mid lane, but the whole team working around this Belveth, funneling Cast with gold. It just pays off. It seems like fourth wall is a lot more cohesive of a team than Veneer. This was kind of the case in game one, but now it seems even clearer.
Yeah, and even in this early stage, we're only 14 minutes 30-ish into the game, and we already do see a 3k gold lead start to accrue for the side of fourth wall. This second Rift Herald isn't going to be standing for too much longer, as that's going to be taken by Cast. Will be interesting to see where that one goes, and this bottom tower looks like it's going to go over to the Ari, so that is going to go over to Harbo, and looks like they're trying to catch Fade here.
It is an Akali. The tower is going to fall down, so not exactly nothing gained. However, Liam Cole had to burn the flash in the middle. We see a full on fight. The Aphelios is dead already. Charge coming in through. 1-for-1 ADK for the support. And Cast is stuck under the start. I think the Belveth might just... Oh my god, he's survived for so long. But that is finally the shutdown. Going for Harbo. Gravecast is going to die, and it's now only sleeping. Suddenly, fourth wall are breaking apart. The minute flash forward. Charm missing. 3-for-1 Veneer. Not back, but good start.
Yeah, amazing response from a lot of the early aggression that we've been seeing from this 4-4 team. They've kind of made the decision. We know that both Gragas, Rakan and Ari are in the bot lane. We can go for this play on Liam Cole. It looked like a lot of damage had been taken by Max in the attempted gank under the tower, but we are seeing Fade harass Harbo and the Veneer roster. Kitano will shield, but he will not be able to protect his mid laner for long.
Just a bit of skill shot disaster there from Harbo, or maybe Fate just too good at dodging. Let's take the positive side here, and it is going to be a kill picked up off the back of this dragon. I'm trying to think. Fourth wall just picked up the dragon, right? Or Veneer? I genuinely forgot. Anyways, back onto this mid lane tower. That's all the way.
Yep, we are back onto this mid lane tower. This time we're not going to lose 3 members for the side of fourth wall. It is going to be a bit more of a clean push. Vanir can't really answer the 4 members.
Yeah, tired in the bot lane, taken down. Fourth wall picking up as much gold as they can. 3,500 trying to maintain their lead after that lost fight in the mid lane. Harbo though going to go forward, beautiful charm into the Everfrost, into the no-cap, no movement for you. Very bad, taking down Grave Pass, and Max also very much out of safety. And the kill going over to Harbo.
Yeah, a nice response there from Vanir. They punished the over-aggression again shown by fourth wall. It does seem like that is maybe a theme that we might see come out throughout this game. A lot of aggression shown by this fourth wall team. They don't really need to be there at that time. And they just get caught a bit too eager on the red buff, and it's a really nice punish from the side of Vanir and Harbo in particular, really.
Yeah, and 2 items on the Ahri. I'm looking forward to seeing what the mid game is really going to bring, because we kind of finished the early game, as I'm going to define before that fight in the mid lane, being like, okay, fourth wall are in the driving seat. I mean, how long until they start making moves where it's difficult for Vanir to come back? And now, whilst Vanir are not, in any commanding or even equal position, there are suddenly glimpses of hope.
Yes, and that's what we need to hold on for, Vanir. They're not completely out of this game. They are still roughly about 3k behind, but it's a lot better than it could have been. Fourth wall haven't been able to really push this sort of a goal difference so far, but we are going to start to see maybe some more contests around the dragons or something come out from Vanir, but we'll have to see what happens as this game starts to go into its later stages.
Now, this mid lane tier 1 is still standing for fourth wall. If they can defend that, of course, all the objectives become much easier to defend. Division right now scattered, both teams having pretty decent coverage. A lot of pings towards the bot side. Fade is going to be the target, just hops away with the shuriken flip. And that's going to be the end of that. Kitano still has the tier 1 to stay safe behind, so I think the Kled should be able to live another day. Well, all the Herald is going to be used to take down that tower.
Yep, Kitano just has to respect a lot of members from fourth wall. We've got the Zaya the Nautilus rotating up to assist with the Belveth and the cannon. TPU being used by Harbo. Fade is going to hit the shuriken, and he is flipping into 4!
No! Fade!
Oh, no.
He tried so hard, but that's going to
no.
Harbo right into the hook there. Gonna have to burn this double, sleeping over the wall. Oh no, you hate to see that! Finally, we'll have to try and get away. Harbo from the pit, just dishing out the damage. Hops right back on. Sleeping slowed down, knocked up with the body stomp cast. Can he turn this fight around? Going to flash away from Harbo though. And Grave Pass is trying to run away from X-Drop, but here comes the charge. The flash won't get you out. And that is a 4-0. Oh no, no. Do not do him like that. Do not do him like that.
Production. Oh no. This is just it's so hard to break down when it's kind of just an error after an error type situation. You see there that Fade thinks that he's making a really smart, 100 IQ sort of play by hitting Harbo with the shuriken flip and then flipping in, realizes I've made a grave mistake because I've flipped into 4 people, and this whole series of play is leading into Vanir having complete control over this Baron. Cast is alive, but he has no flash to really get into the pit. He's just going to keep pushing down mid, and this Baron is over to Vanir.
What a throw. I mean, that's impressive. You almost have to give it to fourth wall at this point. Because just like that, their lead is gone. They don't have the Baron. Dragon is going to be up. And it kind of feels like a lot of the momentum was lost. Now, I'm going to hold my breath. I'm not going to be a doomer just yet, because we need to see a fight where the gold is even, and fourth wall do not do whatever the hell just happened. Then I'll make up my mind.
Yeah, it did just seem like one thing after another was going to go bad for fourth wall in that team fight. As well, we did see the Harbo flash miss charm as well. So it wasn't just all 4-4 messing up, but Veneer definitely the massive beneficiaries of those series of plays. We are going to see the dragon be taken down as well from Veneer, so able to get back on the map with these Baron buffs and are able to take out some more objectives for themselves.
And I mean, I love Hextech. I feel like any game that Hextech comes up, I just love talking about this dragon because I don't think there's a single champion in the game that hates it. I mean, ability haste, attack speed. Yeah. Filio's gonna take both, Clyde's gonna take both. So Veneer able to get that under their belt as well, kind of +1 to power. I guess if you want to look at it in this term. Now, that is a very deep invade for vision. I'm not sure how I feel about this. X-drop burns the flash, not sure if necessary, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Don't want to be punished for an over-eager extension there from them. Thinking about the main beneficiaries of that play, Liam Cole got a load of lovely gold over to him on the Felios, so he is going to start hitting very hard. We see the top tier 1 taken by Harbo, a lot of standing gold on these towers for Veneer after getting the Baron, as they hadn't really taken many before that. So we're going to have to see how they're going to keep using this Baron buff. Are they able to gain anything else across the map other than the top tier 1?
So far, they have just closed the goalie. They've built none of their own. X-drop standing in the wings. Cast, look to go forward. That's still a 4-1-1 Belvet. It's going to be Stridebreaker. So no Jackshaw build, so I'm not going to hate it at least.
He did say that we're going to be questioning his build.
Or the other team did say you're not going to like my build. That could be interpreted both ways.
Is that exactly? We're just seeing here 4th wall clearing their topside jungle of all the vision that Veneer were able to place in by having the push in top, push in mid. We have seen the Baron buff will be timing out relatively soon. So overall, as you alluded to, Veneer have just pretty much stemmed a lot of the bleeding. But we are seeing a committal from the Rakan ult from Drop.
Yeah, and there's no one near... Okay, Kitano just kind of came in from the wing there with the charge cast, still staying alive, but not for too much longer, I have to imagine. And Liam Cole goes on a killing spree with the Aphelios. There's a fight between the top mid laners around here, and it's going to be the shutdown going the way of Fade. 1-for-1. Let's see though, 4th wall, still on the chase. Sleeping has the ult, Sleeping has the flash, gonna burn the former, and Liam Cole still looking for more. Here comes Fade. Up on the ground, Ancients, and you can see a lot of these players just itching to go in but can't find the angle. 2-for-1 going to be the end scoreline for this fight.
Yeah, as you just said, a lot of potential itchy hands from the players ready to make the big hero play to swing the team fight into their direction. Split fight, obviously, Cass gets caught there. It did look like Veneer had kind of overcommitted in terms of trying to land something on the Belveth. It did look like Cass was about to just kind of get out scot-free. But Kitano was able to quickly collapse onto the Belveth, and they're able to pick up that kill. And then we saw on the other side, Fade able to pick up Harbo and then come into the rest of the team fight from there. So, yep, a kind of continuation on from the last game. Harbo not having the best of time when it's kind of him and Fade solo somewhere.
Indeed. I mean, the Akali is still 3-1-1, quite powerful. I mean, Harbo really got most of the spotlight, I feel like, this game, just because he was the person who we kind of thought was going to bring Veneer back. Turns out it was more of a team effort from both sides. Yeah. And but Fade kind of gone quiet, but has a CS advantage, 2.5 items. I mean, I can't imagine the zone is that far away. So going to be hitting the 3 sometime soon. And here's a push from Veneer that 4th wall are going to look to punish, and there's going to be the quickness. Quickly stopping this play out. Okay, well, that's Kitano out of position. Gonna flash over the wall. Gonna survive.
Yeah. Okay. No one wants to die. We are almost at the next dragon as well, so it's a very crucial timer for these players not to be caught. We saw their very quick, decisive decision there from 4th wall. Obviously, Kitano walked over a little bit of vision, so they knew exactly where he was, and they collapsed quite quickly. A bit of a shame that they don't get the kill, because that would have pretty much guaranteed them this Drake. I couldn't imagine that Veneer would have wanted to have contested it, but we are now seeing the kind of jostle here for position in the mid lane.
Baron and Dragon are going to be up at the same time. In terms of the Baron DPS from Veneer, I am not sure if they can burst this down with 2.5 item materials. Give him one more and I'll be more confident. But it does feel like they're positioning up. Maybe looking to knock down that tier 2 fourth wall. Looking for picks. Katana, though, staying out of arm's reach, or rather the dredge line's reach.
Yeah, it's the same. He's just been caught and had to blow his flash. Please don't get caught again. Harbo is able at this timer to be able to push in the top side. So fourth wall might have to think whether they have to send someone up to get it. But we're just seeing again trade of visions. Both objectives are up now for both teams. So we're just seeing a jostle for position. Does look like Veneer are gonna back here. Maybe take some vision of their own or look to get back onto the map and contest something, or they're just going to give fourth wall the dragon for free.
Technically the top lane tower falls, but no local gold, it's just the global one, which I mean what tier 2s really is. Most of the worth their third item finish, Bloodthirster. For Liam Cole, we are gearing up towards this Baron fight. Veneer, the first one's in, going to set up some basic vision defense. That doesn't extend too deep, but fourth wall also have absolutely nothing to work with.
Yep. No, there's one little bit of vision in the Baron pit that Veneer are able to clear out quite quickly. So fourth wall are completely walking into darkness other than the little blue trinket that's get popped there. Oh, we are seeing a repeat of the last game on how it ended, where Veneer have just decided they are just turning and fighting. Lovely vision control from them.
Indeed, and Max burning the flash, I guess over the wrong wall. Maybe he should have just kind of given up there. However, fourth wall still going to try 4 versus 5. They're going to be flipping this Baron. If they lose here, then this will be the first time this game they're really in a losing position. X drop, need to go back over the wall from the Rakan. Fade, disengaging, Grave Pass knocked into the wall. Featherstorm heal. And the Moonlight Vigil stopping just short. The Baron has been stopped in the 4 vs 5. No one has died just yet. But as I say that, Grave Pass has to break the flash away from the charm. Sleeping is still behind the entire team there. Going to clear out vision. Well played from Fourth. They burn some flashes. They burn some ultis. But in the 4 vs 5, they stopped the Baron.
Yeah, and that is the main thing if you are fourth wall that you achieved from there. It did look like both sides of the fight were just not going Veneer's way, and it did look quite scary for a time being there for them. But able to jostle a little bit, as you said, a lot of flashes, a lot of kind of ults have been burnt and used in that fight. We are seeing Katano teleporting in, is able to dodge out on the dredge line there from Max. Could have been a little bit more tasty if Max was able to hit that, but the good thing for Veneer, he didn't.
And now we see fourth wall kind of converging onto Katano, maybe pretty bad. Walking in, there's going to be the charge use, Sleeping, going to get knocked up here, and there's the cast. Katano just going to get this kill and turn around from Veneer towards the Baron. Another 4 versus 5, 46 seconds on the Sleeping Death timer.
Yep, lovely play from Mr. Veneer.
Going to connect, Kitano going in yet again, fourth wall, finding it hard to access, but Kitano getting low right now. I don't know how much time can buy, enough for the Baron to be taken away. Kill for a Baron, and let's see if fourth wall can find anything else. X-Drop taking the Hex Gate cast. Has the blast going to go over the wall, but does he dare? He's just going to hop straight in and out. Veneer with the second Baron.
Yeah, a very interesting series of play. Obviously, Veneer love to have that second Baron. Let's see if they can utilize it a little bit more than they did the first one. They got a lot of the outer turrets done in the first one, so we'll have to see now that they've got this second Baron, what more can they achieve now on the map?
That is the question really on everyone's minds. Can they break open the base, perhaps? Can they start building a lead? Right now, 1,000. It's the first time that they've been sitting in a gold lead, but you look at the items, the power, I mean, 1,000 at 30 minutes doesn't really need much. You've got the Death Cap finished on Sleeping, so next time the Slicing Maelstrom Flash does go over the wall, or really anywhere, into the team of Veneer, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You can in fact see both Liam Cole and Kitano picking up that defensive Hex Drinker.
Yes, and let's have a look at the timers. We're almost at the stage where the next Hex Tech Dragon is going to be coming up, so we'll have to see.
Hold on, there's a fight happening in the bot lane. Oh my god, Sleeping just cuts them down with cast. That is 2 members from Veneer there, just into a face check like that. No neutral objective spawning just yet. They will both be up before the dragon. But more gold. Onto fourth wall, taking out 2 of the Barons and stopping the tempo. I don't think Veneer are getting anything out of this Nashor.
Yeah, and that's almost worst case for Veneer. You spent a lot of time and a lot of resources jostling for this Baron. You were able to get it, and yeah, you lose both your solo laners just from a simple face check.
And that's going to be the tier 2 in the bot lane. And how fourth wall managed to get 1k their way. I mean, we're going to see this gold fluctuate back and forth a lot. 3 stopwatches on the side of fourth wall is really what I want to pay attention to. We are only fighting for soul points, so I'm not expecting full commits from both the teams, but the next major team fight that happens, you have so many stalling tools if you're fourth wall. You know, cast 3.5 items on this Belveth. No, let's just say 3. It's going to be able to do quite a bit when it comes to that consistent DPS.
Yep, we're going to have to see how effective these champions are now that we're
flash dead line straight away. Depth charge into the backside. Liam Cole pretty. Oh my god, Sleeping. He finds the slicing maelstrom and scatters Veneer. Fade going into the backside though. There are no kills to be picked up. The health bars, 3 of them blinking. Now the 4th one. They're all so incredibly low. But there's going to be the 4th wall on the retreat. It looked so good to start with, but they just cannot find the execution, and the dragon going to be started. 6,000 cast. Still very much in the picture. The charge to zone them all away. Going to connect onto Max. Teleport coming in from the base. Fade looking for the round 2. Stopwatch number 1 is going to be used. Fade back in. Full health. Dragon smited away by PvP. And there is the run away from Veneer. Shuriken Fade going to connect. Massive body slam though. Saving their Philios. Who's raining hell down onto the 4th wall. The blade caller does not do the job. And 4th wall are nearly ace.
Oh my days! What a chaotic team fight! That whole fight, Liam Cole's positioning is just something to keep an eye on. He was humongous, and it's not just him. His whole team played around with him to perfection. Harbo able to come in and clean up right at the end to get the triple kill, but all the damage and all the effort has to go towards Liam Cole and his team's ability just to peel him and allow him to put on the damage, and then the lovely cleanup from the rest of Veneer.
The Philios is online. You said when it was big, Liam Cole loves this champion. 4 items now, massive threat, and as you said rightfully, the peel from everyone. Just beautiful. I mean, Shuriken flip from Fade was almost certainly a death sentence, but no, the interrupt from PvP. Probably the MVP of this fight, and you know, Liam Cole, of course, did a great job otherwise of laying down the damage. And Veneer, looking like they have life. The gold might not show it, but oh my god, winning that fight must feel good.
Yeah, it's got to be a confidence boost as we start to try and close out this game for Veneer. They're starting to come online and understand how their team comp wants to play the game, and that's really what you need to focus on if you're Veneer. Just cut out all of these little mistakes that seem to be creeping in for you. Focus on what your champs are really good at. Peel for Liam Cole. Let Harbo just be an absolute nuisance on this Ari as he's just kind of skirting between player and player, and that's really how you look to be able to close this game out.
3rd Baron is going to be coming up soon. This Aphelios, such a scary threat, and 3 items on PvP as well. So if you're going to be called out, that Gragas is going to hurt. And I feel like the biggest thing that struck me is Sleeping has the death cap, the 3 items. The cannon really didn't feel like that much of a threat in that fight. Maybe because of the, quite frankly, ridiculous amount of MR being stacked on the side of Veneer, but still, you managed to find a 3-man slicing Maelstrom and nothing happens? That's not a good sign at this point in the game.
Yeah, it did seem like all the kind of go buttons and everything was kind of used initially, and when you don't kill Liam Cole, it does become very painful as he starts just dishing out very, very interesting amounts of damage as this Aphelios.
See Baron up, and Veneer, of course, taking their position up towards the top side. Sleeping, coming through. from the bot side of the map. Fourth War leading their incursion into the jungle. It's you can almost cut the tension with a knife here, because a single mistake is going to cost you the game. If you're Veneer, that sends you into the losers bracket for this group. Your fourth, well, we have one more chance. Sleeping goes in with his Azing Maelstrom, but does not find the AD carry, and Liam Cole goes unstoppable. Liam Cole is untouched in the back line, and fourth wall are just falling apart. That's the double kill for the Aphelios, 3-for-none. Teleporting to the top lane, trying to cut off Cast from any chance of escape. Kitano, does he win those? Is the question. Yeah, that's actually pretty close, but the answer is yes. Bad coming through with the smite. With those kinds of death timers, that's at least the basis, not the game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether Veneer feel confident enough to keep this kind of push. We do see Harbo kind of trying to keep Fade as busy as he possibly can. We have about just under 10 seconds until we see Nautilus come back. There's the kill from Harbo. There is the confirmation of the ace, and this should be game 2 going to Veneer.
I mean, this looked like fourth wall were going to win it. And then the Baron incident happened. And from there, props to Veneer. They have picked up this game, they have not let go. And once their composition got online, once they got all the tools around their AD carry, it clicked. They knew how to play that kind of style. We're going to go into the game 3. And I mean, what is going to happen? Liam Cole can't play Aphelios.
Yeah.
That's I feel like the biggest thing I want to focus immediately, shifting our mind towards the next match.
Yeah, and I mean, we have 100% win rate in this group on red side. Fourth will have side selection. They will most likely be picking red as well. So we'll have to see if it continues, whether Veneer can carry on their conquest back into this game, and we'll have to see if they can pick up game 3.
Yep, and I believe we'll be going into the break very soon. So yeah, we'll see you after that.
What are you willing to lose? You cover your wounds, but underneath them a million voices in your head that whisper, stop now. Another twist of the knife, a turn of the screws. It's all in your mind, and it's fighting you on yourself. The storm is coming. Wow, kid, what you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head, and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. And now you're playing with matches, come out of the ashes underneath you. A million voices in the crowd, they're screaming, stop now. Well, let them swallow the pride, you're turning the tide to true believers. Got them in the palm of your hand, you're playing God now. What you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head, and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling,
selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun. Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry, 'cause we'll do the grieving while I'm by your side. I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. And I'm so scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room. Well, someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring this sea to you. Oh, will you meet me in the daylight like we did before? Then I felt you on my shoulder, and you weren't suffering anymore. You said, I'm sorry that you worry, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, and when we're gone, everything goes on.
KDA, should we show them how we do it every day? Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali gon' stop, Kali gon' skirt, Kali got a job, Kali go to work. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 than a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit, 그 문 열지 마 that's a rough day. 당겨봐 your mark 'cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미, but all of my numbers are talking back. 부르마 on message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이나 real money 필요 없대. 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못 떼, 못 그래 너도 get it 'cause I got it different.
All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it so deep down. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, let it up and away.
这一路上的奇迹都记住了你的每一个瞬间，无比的耀眼。I know you want some more， 准备好就一起走 ，Giving it all more。Now I got it, so here you go. You look like you could use some more. Now I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind.
Hello.
Surprise! I'm
He's here.
here to help out Ethan and Kaczka for Game 3. Hi guys, it's been a fun evening of League of Legends so far.
Yes, I mean, fun. I think it's definitely one way we could describe the last game.
One of those.
Yeah, it's one of the. I mean, let's be honest. Like before 20 minutes, I looked at that game. I was like, okay, 2-0 by this time. I'll be eating dinner already. No, we're going into a game 3 apparently.
Yeah.
Which good for Veneer and good for everyone watching because that just means more League of Legends.
Well, exactly. It's not quite the LCK levels that we had on Monday between Ruddy and, but it is definitely entertaining. Obviously, we've kind of seen two sides of the coin in terms of both these teams. We saw a very strong showing from 4-4 in game 1, where Veneer kind of drafted themselves into a bit of a hole. And then we saw game 2, where it seemed like 4-4 yet again were in control and were in kind of the position to pretty much do what they did in game 1, except Veneer and Liam Cole and Harbour and all that decided, you know what, no, we actually want to make this, interesting for people.
All right, I did miss game 1, but man, in game 2, like you changed Liam Cole's name out for Ashley Cole. It was from Screamers back there, and Harbo, like what a monster on that RE playing through that late game team fight. Like Everfrost just kept Fourth Wall at arm's length, stopped the Kennen doing his job, and there were plenty of nerves there. If you guys, and I'll come to Kaczka first, we're going to redesign this for game 3. How would you get Vanny that reliability, get them out of the draft? What was the draft trap there? And have a Fourth Wall going to make that more difficult for them?
I mean, I think the problem was that Veneer very much drafted for some kind of early game snowball and didn't give Liam Cole enough space, or they didn't get the opportunity to give him enough space. If they can draft around their AD carry again and have something which has those opportunities to get ahead, like we have seen the RE doing pretty well in the mid game, and still have enough peel, then yeah, I think that's what Veneer essentially want to do.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting coming into this game 3. Both teams cannot use Azaya, and both teams cannot use Nautilus. So both of those champions we will not see banned or picked. Both teams obviously have nuances of certain champions that they can and can't pick. Obviously, Temporal, it's going to be interesting for you because you might start offering up some suggestions for them, and they just can't
shut my face in draft. That is
they
incredible.
just can't pick. But yeah, both of those two champions in particular cannot be picked at all.
That's nuts. So I'm really jealous. I really wanted to cast a series with Fearless Draft for a long time. I've done some practice on a LPL second division, the LDL, where that is the case. But actually, like playing competitive games from our region and OpenFace. Ethan? What is your experience with Fearless Draft so far? Have we seen any like crazy weirdness, or are we seeing like something new? What's your impression?
Oh, we've seen crazy weirdness, and it is just beautiful. Fearless Draft has actually been really fun to watch because the whole purpose of it is to kind of increase the opportunity for loads of more champions to be selected. We are seeing very consistent bans from both teams where they're just champions that both teams know the other team plays really, really well. So those are fine. But the fact is like in this game where you've got Liam Cole, who's really got a good on Aphelios. We didn't see it in game 1, but they've had to use their hand in game 2. Now what do you put him on? You can't put him on a Zaya. You can't put him on a Aphelios. What is your third one? These players now need to be so much more flexible in their picks, and the team as a whole need to be flexible in the way they draft to be able to, if it does go into game 3, or even when we go into best of fives, when we go into those later games themselves there. So it'll be very interesting. We are seeing loads more champs being selected, as we hinted to. The Ready game had loads of like Xerath mids and stuff going on. This game we saw Katano bring out the Kled into Kennen. Kled, one champ that we identified. We don't see too much, but it's a very interesting pick nonetheless, because it's different. It's not just an Ornn. It's not just a Renekton. It's not one of those type of champs. It's something new.
Yeah, I love going to that like second shelf where it's like Kled is present in competitive and we're all terrified of it, but it just never really happens. He's always there, just waiting below the surface. Kaczka, what's been your impression of the Fearless draft so far in this tournament?
I feel like in the first 2 games especially, you want to pick champions that have really super high synergies together, because you don't want to kind of pick stuff that is just middle of the table. So game 1, for example, we have seen the fourth will just commit for a full team fight draft with things like what was it, Ornn, Lilia, Yone, not Zaya, Varus, and Rael. So of course, all of those champions are available. So then game 2, they have going for a Bel'Veth-centric draft. So I think what it really shows is, because you only get to use each champion once, you don't want to get a power pick that has a really good or really specific application and then not be able to draft around it. So it always kind of sits in the back of your head. For example, Veneer picked Orianna game 1, didn't work. Now you no longer have the Orianna, even though we identified last game it would have been a nice place to have her. And potentially going into this draft, it's just such a flexible pick that you no longer have. So I love the fact that every single pick really has to work in your composition.
I love it. Like the actual like precision on the draft now being so much more punishable. That's a really nice way of putting it. It's quite exciting. Okay, gentlemen, predictions, as we do have some technical issues in the background, which means we're going to be a few more minutes to draft. Chat, you can join in with us as well. I want a prediction and I want a minute on the prediction as well. So no pressure. Kaya, what's going to happen with this game? Pre-draft, so this is with little information.
So I think the main bit of information that we have been talking about has been red side 100% win rate in this group. Counter pick seems to be the current thing that all of the kind of teams are looking to get. Obviously, in the last game, Forfall lost. They have side selection. They have selected red side. I have to go with the flow.
Keep the plan up.
I have to keep it going, you know. So I think Forfall will come in. They looked in control of the last game. They made a couple mistakes. Yes, they did. They just couldn't get on top of Liam Cole in those very, very crucial team fights. But I believe they'll go into this game. They'll have a better draft. I'm thinking all of these games have been quite long, so I think we're going to be still going into maybe the 32, 33 sort of area of the game.
All right, 32, 33 minutes for fourth wall. Kaczka.
Fourth wall, 38 minutes and 24 seconds.
38 minutes, 24 seconds. Yeah. Write that down. That's close. That's close.
Someone quote him.
I'll quote him at the end of the game. I am going to go write that down now. We're going to go to a quick break while we get all of our Teemos in order and all of our top lanes back on top of the map. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes with the start of Game 3 of Fourth Wall versus Vanir.
Where did that ball go?
I'm out here in the ether, but it's all cool because Kaya and Kaczka break down this draft for me.
Well, we've seen the Z ban game 1 against Fourth Walls has not been picked in game 2, still going to see that away and not allowing it. Ivern continued ban throughout this entire series, so is the Syndra, so really sticking to the same bans so far.
Yep, so far Jace as well was one that Veneer picked up on the last game on red side when they banned it there. We'll have to see if the Ashe also comes in. That obviously has been banned twice now from the side of Veneer. Okay, Tristana was the other one that I was about to say, because Tristana hadn't been banned at that point. Normally it'd been banned by Fourth Wall, so this is a very interesting adaptation that Veneer are making, because I'm guessing they would have assumed it would have been banned by Fourth Wall, but we also have Ashe open. The Belveth was picked by Cass, he can't pick it again, so we see it being banned.
Well picked, yep.
Yeah, blue on Rel, really standard, really straightforwards. And yeah, obviously something we've not seen this series because the Fearless Draft is keeping me going around in that mind.
You say that, but obviously Veneer can pick it. Fourth Wall couldn't. Max did pilot the horse in game 1, but as we've hinted to, it's been banned from 2 games. Finally, it's through. We are seeing Grave past Ashe.
Indeed, and let's see what is going to be paired up with it right now. All of junglers being Havoc Jarvan, we haven't seen the series at all, I don't think, in the bans. So 0 presence until right now on the table for both Cast and Pipibat. Going to go for the Alistar instead.
Will be the Alistar for Max in the bot lane. Don't want to lock in the jungle quite yet is Cast. He'd rather see what the Veneer side are cooking. We are seeing the Ezreal lock in for Liam Cole. Obviously not able to play Xayah or Aphelios. So going down the list on what is quite prevalent in the ADC position, we are seeing a lot more Ezreal. And the Azir comes out for Mr. Harbo in the mid lane.
Well, that is certainly a composition, long range with the Rel engage. I like the basis of it. What is going to be the response here? I mean, especially the Alistar is going to have a hard time of getting onto either the Ezreal or Azir, I feel like, without additional setup. So if that's the direction in which Fourth will want to go in, then sure, that does make sense. Yasuo for Fade.
Yes, Fade throughout this kind of series has pulled out the Yone, has pulled out the Akali in the last game, so is very much dependent on these kind of AD mid laners. As Cast is very, very well known for his AP kind of scaling champs, we have seen the Lilia come out from him, and obviously in the last game we saw the Belveth, so we won't be able to pick up the Lilia. It will be interesting to see whether we see Karthus, because Karthus is one champion that I know Cast does very much enjoy picking. We are seeing the normal kind of bands coming through. Karma was a very interesting one, so obviously not believing that Rel is the support can be flexed into the jungle, so maybe that is a hint that Fourth Wall do not believe that horse can stay in the bot lane, believing that can be flexed. Olaf being banned away, we have seen that in every game so far in the second rotation. It does leave the Darius, but there's the Karthus ban for Veneer.
Yeah, I mean, one thing with the Fearless Draft is when you get into these later games, it is becoming incredibly easy to just target ban someone. You might just need to dedicate one ban, like the Karthus, and suddenly Cast doesn't have many good AP options. I mean, Gragas is what I meant to say, technically. That was picked up by... I forgot about Diana. Of course, Diana Yasuo.
Of course, Diana Yasuo. I mean, this is a duo long forgotten. I remember those patches where we were just seeing Diana Yasuo all over the place, but very interesting to see that Cast and Fade are pulling out this duo in a game 3 for their tournament hopes. I mean, neither of them really want to be in a situation where they're one series loss away from being knocked out of this competition. We'll have to see what Veneer want to answer. We're still looking for the potential rail flex. We are then also looking for a top lane pick for Kitano.
I like this hover just because I like the champion. Actually, wait, no, we're just frozen. So
I think we are just frozen.
yeah, never mind. I was like, that is a long time to be sitting on the Rammus. There we go. Poppy locked in already into the Alistar Diana as well. Makes sense. A lot of dashes available. And we are going to see a blind pick Darius for Kitano, which means that Sleeping has got their choice of, counter pick. And cannot be Ornn, cannot be Cannon.
No, and I mean, this pick was banned away from the side of 4-4, but we are seeing the Akali.
Cannot. Oh, haven't they just played the Akali?
Fade did. I'm guessing the rules apply that sleep. No.
Yeah, no, clearly it was
Yeah.
mistaken draft.
Yeah, clearly
Yeah.
that's a mistaken draft.
Yeah, the teams are also a little bit confused.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's great timing because I've reappeared. Tell me what's happened.
welcome back. So, draft is doomed.
No,
Yeah.
not like
It
this.
is gone over. Kaczka, what were the standouts that from that? Oh, he's gone again. No, Temporal's lost.
I mean, we can still hear him.
Yeah, he's still in the clouds. Speak to us, Temporal.
So I'm guessing someone didn't follow the rules of Fearless Draft is most likely what happened.
Someone forgot to read the print.
Yeah,
Oh,
Akali was played by Fade last game. So
Yes.
even if it's going to Sleeping, unfortunately you can't pick it. But I am curious to see what is going to be that response to Darius. Technically, that does mean that Fourth will have about 3 minutes to think about it, which, I'm not the person in charge of the competitive integrity, so I'm not going to question the
It's a very interesting thing. Obviously, as you said, they did lock in a champ that they're not allowed to lock in, and everyone's kind of just gone with it. That it's just something that happened, and it'll be interesting to see whether they pick it.
Through? Where are we rewinding to?
Literally R5.
Literally
Yeah.
R5. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we're up against. I saw a Temporal Banish the Shadow Realm. It's true. I
There we
spent
go.
A lot of time on Yu-Gi-Oh. I saw some pretty exciting picks though. That I presume will be maintained. So what were the big ones? Like Rel's boring, but I saw some big stuff.
I mean, Diana as well. It's back.
Yeah.
We are going for that good old engage combo. And with Alistar, I mean, Poppy is, I think, the big counter pick that I do want to bring in the light of that. Like, on one side, sure, it's exciting. We're going in, setting up the Yasuo. Poppy has a really crucial ability that kind of just messes this whole setup up.
Yeah, really difficult. Really, sort of like an impossibility to overcome the Poppy, especially with ability haste so widespread at the moment. Harbo's Azir, pretty storied, pretty exciting to watch. So lots of big tools, big hammers this way.
Yeah, we are definitely going into a game where both teams are throwing down the gauntlet. We are into game 3. We are 1-1. Neither team, as we have said, wants to lose. So both teams pulling out all of the hidden stuff that they might have been trying to save maybe later down into the tournament. But when your tournament, not lives, but when the next stages of the tournament hang in the balance, why not just pull out the Diana Yasuo? Why not just bring out the Darius?
Huge champions that offer so much to their team in like an archetype, and you guys both hit on the like style of a Fearless Draft has to be precise. You're only going to use the tool once, so you got to make it worth it. And that's definitely not an Aphelios, because we saw that last game. Just the Liam Cole just showing off some bragging points there. And Darius top really hard to deal with. It does give the Poppy a hard time, as you mentioned. But then is it about the identity? Is it about the lane? Forceful Sleeping's last pick?
So are we actually going to see an exciting top lane?
Yeah, is this something that Forful told them they were going to pick? Or like you said, have they just had the whole time to think? Well, exciting we go.
That's
right.
That's a challenge and a half. That is not a matchup that goes peacefully into the 9th.
Not at all. And I mean, it's one that Fiora really needs some time to scale into. I mean, Darius level 1 powerhouse. Fiora, if you get the good vitals, sure, but after the level 1, once the minions start spawning, you really need to get your item to start working. And Kitano, hasn't had a good showing in the 1v1. I feel like if there is a game to make a name for himself, it has to be this one.
Yes, he struggled not in terms of dying a lot, but he definitely struggled in terms of CSing, and he chose into that matchup. Later in the game, he did have quite a lot of impact in terms of obviously the Kled ult being able to speed up his team, which meant that their engages were a lot more kind of like definite. You saw a lot more decisive in their kind of play because they were able to get there quite quickly. So yeah, he's got his champ that he is known for. He pulled it out a couple times in summer in NLC Div 1, and it is something that obviously Fourth Wall did know about because they banned it in the last game. They have left it open. Then we have Sleeping setting down the challenge with the Fiora as well. So it's obviously something that Sleeping is not going to shy away from. He is going to just kind of attack it front on.
Action, bloodshed in the top lane. That's what I get excited for. Is there anything else down the map that we're particularly interested in? I think Azir, kind of an interesting proposition with the Yasuo Diana, because it is not the most easily attacked control mage. You could sweep them both under a tower and be really flashy. You could try and dash away yourself. Very hard to do that against Diana. It's not a reliable means of escape. As any body block up front would mean an instant death for the Azir.
Indeed, it will, but we are going on to the Rift. First game. I was just going to say first game without fault.
Oh no, we are having to remake the lobby. Everyone is leaving.
Oh, right, Zoe, you're wasted on us. What beautiful camera angles! What level of production are we've got here? Just on the Twitch channel.
I know.
The Aurora Cup, and
the
lobby's busted.
These teams as well, they've swapped sides, so Zoe's had to change the names around twice as well. It is ridiculous, really. I think we do need a formal apology from both the sides of Fourth Wall and Veneer for the stress and that they have put on our lovely producer in the background.
Yeah, agreed.
It's a shambles. Get yourselves together, huh?
Well, this is the NLC. This is the prime competition that is witnessed worldwide. These kind of scenarios are not acceptable. It is not acceptable.
This is where Danish mids come from, and we should. We're gonna kick it to a quick break while we get everything sorted. See you in a moment.
I got the height of a lion. I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend was born. All of my enemies already dead. I'm born, I'm ready for war. They know I'm ready for war. I told them we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by
Wanna join me? Come and play, but I might shoot you in your face. Bombs and bullets will do the trick. What do we need here is a little bit of panic. Do you ever wanna catch me? Right now I'm feeling ignored. So can you try a little harder? I'm really getting bored. Come on, shoot faster. Just a little bit of energy.
Sure. I assume we're back. Anyways, welcome back. Yeah, welcome back onto the Rift, everyone. After a short lobby reset, we're finally ready to go into the game 3. Only one of these teams can win. The loser will have to fight Roddy for their tournament lives, whereas the winner will be given a chance against Gran Turismo to progress into the next stage. And let's see. It all comes down to this.
Yep.
What a brutal proposition to have to face off against Ruddy Esports in the lower bracket. And even then, Gran Turismo put up such a great fight.
Yes, exactly. And we know from experience that the men behind the scene at Roddy, Don Jake, Regan, have had a fierce team talk with the lads. So who knows what sort of monster they'll unleash in the next stage.
Yeah. Oranges at halftime, not such a thing.
No, it's cans of Stella and a firm talking to from the boys.
All right, the two junglers have checked each other as we are also looking at a vicious top lane matchup. Fiora Darius with the Ghost as well for the Darius.
That was an start from Liam Cole, right? Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh.
So a little bit of a force there, I guess, from Fourth Wall. Maybe a bit of a warning sign. Just didn't really want anything to do with that, so had to go E first in order to not blow any form of summoners. Didn't know if there were any other Fourth Wall members in the bush behind the big menacing cow. But yeah, we are seeing, obviously, we didn't see any shenanigans level 1 or any invades at all. We might still see some shenanigans. But for now, battle lines have been drawn, junglers have started their clears, and we are starting this game 3.
And no surprise, they are both pathing bot to top. They're going to try and get this level 4. I think both will likely ignore the crab as Sleeping did not get level 2.
Oh no.
Indeed, that's going to be the apprehend back. 3 stacks, 4th one. That's going to be just about half of Sleeping's HP lost a level 1. Rough start, but I want to say kind of to be expected in this matchup.
Yeah, getting some of Darius' skills. Either hit the whole wave with the Q, or in this case, took the W. Was just able to reset on minions and power through a little bit faster. So if the Fiora Qs forwards onto the wave, the Darius will just open up.
Yep, and it's definitely going to be interesting. I think this mid lane matchup, we have seen Fade get the best of Harbo quite continuously, I think, throughout this series. Obviously, game 1 was very hard for Harbo. Game 2 was a lot better, especially as we got into these late game team fights. He had loads of kind of impact in those. We are seeing a menacing Darius in Cass jungle. He's not going to be able to find the blue buff, so we'll ping that the blue buff has been missing, but he is walking on vision and then on vision, so they know exactly where this Darius is at all times at the moment.
Yeah, good work from Cass to keep the clear time up. Dano a little bit late in. Will not be pinched here, I think. Fourth Wall should probably just let him go back into the lane, fearing the Poppy on a similar time.
Yeah, giving a lot of respect to the Darius, and as you said, the Poppy as well. You don't know where Pippi Bad is, and you know the Poppy is likely pathing topside, so of course, yeah, not wanting to get into any dangerous altercations. Max going in, does go for the stun onto Eggs drop, and damage traded roughly evenly concentrated onto the Alistar, and now the Ghost is going to get popped, flash away from Sleeping straight out of the gate.
All right, both side lanes there pushing towards people making the play. Just a little bit of a risk, especially with the way those side lane minions have changed. The little ricochet on waves 5 and 6. I'll keep posted on whether anyone gets a nice, clean, easy reset at 1,000 gold. Because of it, Liam Cole, once again, the victim.
Just under 200 HP. X-Drop is going to drop the exhaust just to disengage from this fight. And yeah, you see the Ashe supremacy on Grave Past controlling this lane really well. Obviously, credit where credit's due. Max has been playing this Alistar pretty clean too.
Yeah. And they're not able to evade the conditioning. Caster just currently taking a bit of damage. He's right on the edge of the path box, but will get under Vanya's tower.
Does get stunned up just outside of the range, and now Flash pulverized first blood cast. Gonna be looking for Liam Cole, but this is pretty dangerous. Flash is forward!
Oh.
What are you doing?
The last auto W not coming through. The fight continues.
Grave Flash is gonna take the Flash out to safety. Teleport was committed in from Harbo. 1-for-1. I mean, if Cast didn't do whatever that was, I'd say it's worth.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision as well. On the side of Harbo, it seems like he backed and was TPing from the mid lane because he kind of arrived quite low on health and on mana, so wasn't really able to affect the team fight any more than he did. Obviously, Cast, loads of flashes have been burnt at the outcome of that, but if we're looking and taking in the amount of flashes have been burnt, it's a net win for Veneer, as obviously Liam Cole had to use his, but both Grave Past and Cast committed theirs to the play, and it's only for a 1-for-1.
Yeah, not a huge swing. And while Fourth Wall are up on gold and are still farming that extra wave in bot, it's likely due to them being able to continue to farm mid lane, and Harbo ran down. That is a base realized for the Ezreal. He's got that gold and he's used it now, whereas Grave Past and Mixie will have to wait for the next time that they can get out of this bottom lane. With a Sheen, hopefully this Ezreal can stand up a bit stronger against the Alistairs. Kikano in top lane.
Going to flash forward, apprehend, and that kind of diffused the play. The ignite was committed. Well played from Kitano to disengage Cast. We'll be looking. Can he get the kill? The turret 1, 2, and 3, 4.
Oh dear. Oh, the Alistar's out of nowhere.
Oh man, that is rough. Right. That is so rough.
That's a very, very sad cow from the end of that play. The Fourth Wall decided to bring the Avengers up to the top lane in order to deal with the ghostless Darius there, but it really does just turn on its head. The Darius still gets a kill out at the end of it, and then I don't quite understand what Max thought he was achieving there, but he obviously saw something that the rest of us can't see. But that's just a donation straight over to Pibibit there on the Poppy. For himself, and yeah, very interesting series of plays being committed from the Fourth Wall team. Maybe a bit over aggression shown.
Alright, this is more like the kind of game we're expecting. The arrow gonna go wide, there's the last breath, and X-Drop does not have the flash, no way to get away. Fade finally on the scoreboard.
Yeah, just the Ashe arrow going slightly wide. Doesn't matter too much. Great to get a use of the last breath in before Diana hits 6, and then you can maybe try and double down when her ultimate's up. And what a series of plays where everyone looked like they really wanted to use flash and were missing it from a violent early game. So a lot to consider, and Vanier have clearly made the most of taking Fourth Wall's flashes.
Yes, exactly. Very much something that we haven't really seen either team prioritize, and that is the use of punishing the flashless players. In the last couple of games, we've had times where no bot laners have had a flash, and yet we've had no action. So very interesting to see that adaptation coming into game 3. Obviously, we're just going to take stock of kind of how the early game's gone. We do have the Herald. First Drake was taken by Cass, so we're going to see the early Dragon stacking come out from them so far. But all in all, we are relatively even so far.
With no Dragon to play around, that means Diana Yasuo's combo is online, and both teams will head towards the Rift Herald. a dangerous proposition as Van start this one up.
So far, no movement to respond to the arrow. Still got some seconds left. I don't think it will be flying in time, unless it's going to be cast right on cooldown. I'm keeping my eyes on the mini-map. Kaz going to spot this out right now, and Kitano comes down too. You can see the support coming in.
Arrow is in, it's coming.
And, just dodged away. Nice Keeper's Verdict. Cast this out of there. No jungler. Should be an easy secure for Vanir.
Yep, and that is exactly what we were talking about when we saw that the Poppy had been brought in from Pipibat. You got a kind of comp with the Diana and the Yasuo that kind of need to just jump on you. Poppy in that scenario says, right, well, buy one half of that combination. And then Forfall really can't step up much more than that. They had the early roam from the Alistair as well, so Max was there first, but by the time they had actually decided on how they wanted to approach the fight, we had Harbo there, and even X-Drop had rotated up. So yeah, great rotation from Vanir to be able to do that, and obviously Pipibit, great recognition that he can just smash the Diana away.
Yeah, no Diana, and then there's no Diana Yasuo. I really like that Liam Cole was able to recover a little bit there as well. The CS differential in bot completely closed up, with Ash feeling she had to take a base to avoid a cross-map play. And they're now walking this Rift Herald all the way to the bottom lane. They could hold on to it for the next dragon. However, I don't think they're going to be so patient.
Does not look like it. Cast is going to blast cone over the wall. No vision on his approach. Max going to find a flash double. Knock up into the backside. Pipibat below 100 health. And there is the volley finding him through. Liam Cole dead. Double kill for Grey Fast. And X-Drop, you have to imagine, is going to follow soon. Triple kill for the AD carry of fourth wall.
And fourth wall just had to hold on there for their jungler to arrive. And it looked like Vane were very confident they had the numbers advantage, playing forwards, using their health bars. In the end, Grave Pass just doing so much damage and all the Ash Arrow in mid.
That is just nasty. Harbo with the Empress Divine going to glide to safety. Well played.
Yeah, I really thought the tornado was coming across the side there, but instead, Harbo escapes.
Yeah, great individual, I guess. Understanding of his champion there from Harbo, is able to get out safely, but we identified Grave Pass and his Ash in the very first game as something that's definitely something to keep your eye on. Whether it was even going to be able to get through, and it has got through in this game 3, so maybe Vanir might rue that decision that they let this champion and this player kind of reunite on this very decisive game.
A huge tool so far in this game. Fourth wall take that 1,000 gold lead. That's we've seen 1,000 swing backwards and forwards between these teams so far, but with the Rift Herald gone and with no dragon for a minute, I think that's going to hold at least.
Let's look at Pipibat. Actually, no, two collapses happening. One in the middle, but the one in the top lane more imminent, sleeping. The Flash is going to try and run away. Will succeed at doing just that. Dragon up in 40, you can see the bot side focus from fourth wall. They might try and collapse on Liam Cole again. No flash, but it is an Ezreal with a cleanse. Gonna be a tough ask.
Alright, the Rift Herald dropped in the top lane, so it will be the cross map. And while fourth wall might have the priority here for now, Vanir did just weaken their cross map by taking the Fiora ultimate, so if she teleports in, she will be weaker.
Sleeping was trying to get that eye on the charge, but instead eats a load of damage. So many pings coming through, you have to imagine on the Azir. Harbo is going to get last breath. Beautiful Keeper's Verdict, though. Grave Past has no real team to play around in this fight. And I mean, it's 30 minutes of the game. We've seen so much value from Pipibat's Poppy already.
Yeah. Definitely, and obviously that has net fourth wall their second Drake as well. They are not going to be challenged from this side of Vanir. They kind of were able to save their Azir. He's in no fighting fit to be able to stay in that lane. He doesn't have TP as well. We are just seeing Fade tickle Pipibat, letting him know that he is there. I thought we'd see some form of committal. I think if we were watching a composite Yasuo, we might have seen something very spicy that we saw in the play-ins, but Fade just going for the chunk, and now we'll take it back.
it's so exciting to watch these high-level mid laners. You're right, Composite's such a limit tester. Someone who's so confident in pushing the boundaries. And talking of boundaries, game 3, this is it. A failure here will mean it dropping to that lower bracket versus Ready. Fearsome contender, to say the least.
Indeed. Although, if I am watching fourth wall right now, I mean, given the last game, I will have to hold this point. Cast? Oh, no, I don't. But yeah, given last game, fourth wall have thrown bigger leads. This is what we kind of... And right now, in fact, and in fact, the lead doesn't exist now after that first start was taken.
2 dragons.
So, I do want to bring it back to the dragons, though, because now that you mentioned Infernal, Chemtech, and it's a Hextech Soul. If it's a 4 dragon stack, I think this is as good as you can ask for. Just as general all-purpose dragons.
Pretty strong, pretty direct in their benefits. You know, I'm not as down as everyone else on Chemtech Soul. I've seen loads of people like berating it on co-streams during a team fight where it like keeps 3 people alive who then like use big cooldowns. I'm like, so it made a huge difference. Having a go like in the bottom lane.
Why they say 2 versus 3? They should not be getting any kills! But Max is going to take down Pipipat, and now X-Drop is also getting dangerously low. What is this? You're not allowed to do that! Come on, the cleanse. Oh, Great Fast needs to be careful now. Liam Cole. There's potential for a chase down in the top side. What happened? Okay, that's a dead kick.
Someone who's dead. Good night, sweet prince.
Oh no, this is probably the worst thing that Veneer could have had happen. They try and make a play in the bot side with obviously 3. They lose the 3v2, and then you're thinking you've got this kind of strong Darius in the top lane. He's just taken the first tower top, and he just gets caught overextending. So you lose out in the bot play, you lose out in the top play, and you're left kind of wondering what's gonna happen next, Veneer.
Liam Cole did have to just burn the flash. There was a Hex Flash over the wall from MXC for the Headbutt Pulverize. So, no flash on the Ezreal as we're entering the next...
You know what we do have? I know what's going through Fade's mind right now. This is how you read Yasuo players' minds. You got 3 Qs. You got 3 Qs on the wave there, and Flash QR is... Well, Flash EQR is just the perennial Yasuo 1v1 combo. I do wonder... With Dragon a minute away, it's time for a play on mid. It's time to get that Shurima shuffle in.
Yeah, you do have to worry about going in the head of any sort of Yasuo player, so do be careful in their temporal whilst you stay. It might be the last place we hear from you. But we're taking stock. Dragon will be coming up in 1 minute 30. This is fourth wall's chance of being on Dragon's soul point, and Liam Cole is able to E away, but that arrow is not E-able away.
Loud double last breath. The Keeper's verdict does leave Fade alone, but this Yasuo is incredibly strong. It is a 1 versus 3 effectively. Well, 1 versus 4, I feel like it's going to turn his fate around. You have to imagine double kill picked up by Harbo. So despite fourth wall initiating this fight, another Keeper's verdict into a team fight win. I feel like we're seeing a pattern here, guys.
Oh, don't say that. Just as you're mentioning patterns, and I'm guessing they're patterns of throw, Harbo has gone into a bush where he has currently no vision. He is able to get out of the skin of his teeth.
No, the thing is
how long for?
Not too long, you would imagine. Cast doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the ult. Harbo, no real big cooldowns either, just trying to buy time. And okay, I mean,
it's a solo ball if I've ever seen one.
Exactly. I mean, Max is there just saying, I needed to take that in the comms. This Alistair needs that gold going over to him. But this is a massive play for Veneer. They just got a shutdown on Grave Pass onto Harbo. I'm not 100% sure if Fade did have a shutdown, but that's effectively a shutdown and a kill onto this Azir, who is quietly just scaling, really.
Yeah, I mean, right now only that crown, not really the pinnacle of the DPS, but one thing that I pointed out as soon as Israel and Azir were picked is that it's an incredibly long-range composition. If you allow these champions to scale, to hit their items, and then you have the Poppy safeguarding any engage, there is no way for fourth wall to win the team fights. Something needs to break for Veneer once their carries have the damage, I feel like.
Yeah, we're a few hundred gold away from the Nashes and a huge amount of damage as Sleeping just gets bounce housed.
Yeah, and Mexi, I think, is just going to follow here. The turret falls. It is in trade for the dragon, but tier 2, 2 kills for a bot lane tier 1 dragon. Questionable trades, but
certainly a transfer.
yeah.
I'm not sure it's the trade deal I'd take. Cross map play, cast fade. We'll push Harbo back, and he's not getting picked out this time. Safe range from Arazir.
Getting that second tower in the bot lane makes it, I guess, somewhat more worth. But the TLDR, towers are falling. People are picking up the items. People are picking up damage. Baron up in 40. And this series, I feel like we've seen so many crucial turning points around this objective, including some sad ones from fourth wall. Luckily, they only have a 1.5 thousand gold lead, so maybe that's going to prevent them from throwing.
You'd hope so.
It's like their lead isn't growing, it's just twisting around the map as fourth wall's bot lane continues to advance into the base and Vanir's top lane makes moves.
Yep, exactly. We're seeing a battle on two halves of the side. We're seeing a very strong showing currently from fourth wall's bot. We are seeing Sleeping very aggressively pour into Pivot. He has Harbo in support. Kitana is over the wall as well. This should just be a dead Fiora.
I mean, I was gonna say, question is how much time Sleeping can buy, but realistically, you're just buying time for Fade to push on that top lane. Get the tier 1. It's a mistake from Sleeping,
I guess.
Yeah, it's a mistake from Sleeping, but fourth will make it work.
Yeah, the counter push in mid not quite ready yet, so Vanir will just have to respond to this top T2.
After last game, this feels so slow because we've been in this back and forth kind of, late game with everyone building damage, and now we have similar backs and forths all across the map. But of course, we're only 20 minutes in. People are not as strong as they were last time, so at least I feel very uneasy. But we need to realize it is 21 minutes. There is zero reason to flip Baron. Possibly the Dragon in 2.5 minutes is where I expect fourth wall will be really centering their game plan around making sure you secure that objective.
Yeah, what I really like so far, and you're right with the flipper and Baron point, both teams executed on like a relatively planned early game where Cast 1 is getting behind people and surprise and show up where PP-Bat was and wanted to sort of appear in sort of a uniform fashion. We've now like really slowed it down because no one wants to flip a big team fight. No one wants to be like meat for this Ashe. No one wants to be the victim of Harbo's Azir with a huge sweep. So we're taking it real calm, real control. This game matters a lot to both of these teams.
Yes, and exactly that's what we want to be seeing from these teams. They've had their chance to make the mistakes in the last game. It looks like we've been learning from it as well, which is amazing to see. We'll have to see what is the catalyst of this kind of going into these later stages of the game. Will it be when this dragon spawns up and we start to see where the priority shifts? Will Vanir give up Dragon Soul to fourth wall in order to trade it for a Baron, or will fourth wall do the opposite and will they just take Baron and give over just one Drake over to Vanir?
Questions, possibilities, all on the table.
A true shot barrage going completely wide.
I mean,
what do these things mean, Kaczka? There's so much philosophy right now in this general position around mid lane.
Well, Liam Cole did cut the wave, which means that fourth wall won't be able to take this Baron, not Baron, tier 1 mid lane.
They might take the Baron though.
Yeah, they are moving towards it. Right now, just putting out vision. There is the Ashe arrow onto PP-Bat. That's the Poppy. Flash burnt. Honestly, sure. You're gonna take Flash for Ashe ult?
It's okay. It's okay. They will be without that tool for the next 40 seconds or so. Once again, a bit of a struggle in mid lane. Pings onto the bottom lane. Looks like Harbo's pushed Sleeping out. So it's a favorable position for Vanir. Now both teams drifting down there. I'd like to see moving towards the Baron. This should be the vision check.
Yep, we're starting to see both of these teams draw their battle lines in the sands as we start getting even closer to this dragon spawning up. Obviously, it is Soul Point for fourth wall. This would complete the Hextech Soul. Obviously, Vanir are in a position where if they start letting certain things slip, this game could fall right out of their hands.
Neither team is committing fully. We have a bit of a long flank from MXC going to be spotted out very soon. I think, well, I don't know if he got spotted actually. Cast needs to be careful. The Poppy Stun doesn't connect. And it's Veneer holding the position on the Dragon, but Sleeping gonna put pressure on both side.
Yeah, they do have Harbor's teleport to respond to this, but you never want to be pulled away from a fight you've planned.
There is a recall, no teleport from Kitana. MXC going to flash in, flash away from Liam Cole. That is a double Poppy ultimate away. The arrow only connecting onto the support. Sleeping is coming in from the side. Harbo flashes away and out of the fight. Kitano finally coming through, but Angstrom is already dead. It is a 4 versus 5. Sleeping on the front side. Rolled from over the wall.
Nice.
And makes it an equalizer. But it's support for a top laner. And we'll see what happens next. Kitana
look
still
at him
running
go.
forward with it. Goes. We have a fight on two fronts. Kitana versus Cast. Fade is joining in. Flashes in. The guillotine! It is another trade of kills. Yet again, shutdowns. Being handed back and forth with no jungler. Veneer are going to take the dragon and they will emerge victorious on paper.
Yeah. They trade the tanks. They trade the supports.
They definitely take those trades if you're Veneer. If you're going to give over anyone, if you're going to take the Fiora and the Diana. Bit of an interesting one as well. Sleeping opted into this Fiora, but I mean, fourth wall not going to let me finish what I was saying. No, okay, just gonna tickle the Baron. Just make sure it's not feeling lonely as the Drake goes over to Veneer. Don't want to leave him out of all the action. But yeah, Sleeping has chosen this into Kitano's Darius and really has struggled in this game. He has been caught now twice, I believe. That port. The first time didn't go well for him, and in that sort of time as well, during the dragon fight, gets caught out. Lovely pull back from Kitano, pulls Sleeping right back into the danger area for him. And again, it's just hard for fourth wall to really fight that after that point. We think Kitano's gone a bit too deep. He goes too deep, but it's equally traded. And when your jungler's down as fourth wall, you do not want to be giving many more kills over, especially when the game's this close.
Kitano called out, flashes away out of the damage, the healing. Very sizable, and now
there's an Asher coming upstream.
Going to go
wide.
Just now wide, and oh my god, these are just out of reach of any big team fights. It's oh my god, I can't take it. Just fight already.
You could cut this tension with a knife. Both of these teams active, proactive in looking for these fights, these hex flashes up against the walls. It's just so difficult. No one wants to commit. If they start something that's not looking favorable, they get out. Or, you know, we've seen some decent escapes. Calm moves from Vania on the back foot of these Ash arrows and this constant checking of their positions on the map.
Yeah, the main thing as well is if we notice both mid-tier ones are still standing for both teams. So the fact is neither team feel confident enough to be able to push their line of vision, which makes these team fights, especially around dragons, around your barons, so much harder to establish any form of vision. We are seeing the kind of side lane pressure that's being able to put out by like Sleeping. We saw it a lot by Kitano when he was able to split push and take both either side's tier 1, but no one has been able to really make an impact in this mid lane, which makes it so much harder for teams to have real control over these main objectives.
Yeah, no Caitlyn, no Aphelios, no big tower destroyers, and with the Fiora and the Darius being responsible for everything that has been destroyed on this map, you know, we can maybe give Grave Pass Ash some credit as well. It's such a different scene to what we're used to. The Fearless Draft has pushed us into this different style of gameplay as both teams hang on for dear life in this best of 3.
The Baron has been started with a dual take. And Sleeping in the bot side, putting a lot of pressure. I mean, Harbo doesn't have the teleport, so essentially just completely knocking out this Azir from the fight, who is on 3 items. We are at the point where, you know, whilst this build is very defensive, you still kind of have to respect it.
Yeah, that extra clutch factor of the Zhonya's just doesn't want to be the victim of an Ash arrow from downtown, doesn't want 4 people jumping on him to be the end. You know, normally we'd be looking for a Void Staff here, we'd be looking for extra damage. Instead, just going for that extra safety from, extra opportunities.
It's so cautious the way that both of these teams are playing. You see how kind of far back Harbo's having to catch that wave because, as you said, he doesn't have teleport. There is a real threat of this Fiora in the side lane, even though she is 0-3. Like one kill there, and she's straight onto your inhib and onto your Nexus turret. But there you just saw 4-4 teasing with taking the Baron. I'm not sure if they had a full read on Harbo's teleport because I think if they did, they probably would have committed a little bit more heavier because that is a definite window where you could have punished the side of Veneer for sending Harbo onto these side lanes because at the moment they're deciding that Kitano is more better off being involved in these team fights than your Azir is. So very questionable on that. But you can see here Harbo, he is stepping out.
Sleeping going to commit for the all-in. There is
nice.
this sweep into Kitano. Fiora taken out, and let's see, fourth wall immediately pinging towards the Baron. They have a temporary 4 versus 3. The jungler is up, but teleport coming in from Harbo.
No, this is what you wanted to do when you knew port was down. This is the sort of play you wanted to make. You needed to wait for that. But there you can see Veneer had been prepping for that play. We saw Kitano hovering quite a lot in his jungle, ready to kind of collapse on sleeping if he overextended. But this just looks like it's just going to be a case of you were too over-aggressive at sleeping, and you've kind of been costed without knowing the timers of teleports and that. And this is just a Baron over to the side of Veneer, but Dragon is also on the map as well.
Yeah, no flash on the Darius and no ult on the Azir. I really would have liked cast on the flank to try and take that, but the base is the give up.
Dragon started fading, and Grave Pass are here for the DPS, and good body block from MXC. That is going to be a true. But the Keeper's verdict, yet again, it just disrupts fourth wall. But Grave Pass, he is untouched on this Ashe, able to dish on the DPS. Harbour goes over the wall, Sleeping trying to chase through, and the fight is all over the place. Peering back, dropping away. Kitano dead. Double for the Ashe, and Cast is going to take down his counterpart. 4 for 2, and a soul for fourth wall.
Absolutely massive for fourth wall there. Liam Cole, the only member of Vanir still holding the Baron. And with that Hextech Soul, they're able to do so much damage. Cast will not give up. Pushing forwards. And the mid T1, after 31 minutes, will finally fall.
Yeah, and we were just praising Veneer for obviously their control, being able to take the Baron, and it looks like we might. Oh my god!
This is the same thing we've seen this game already.
We saw that one before.
What a disaster.
But yeah, as I was going to say, Liam Cole is the only one with the Baron. He almost lost it there, very close. But yeah, he is currently the only one with this Baron buff up. So that big kind of neutral objective that they took, there was a really good decision for Veneer. They've kind of lost it now, and they've given over Hextech Soul to 4th wall. So it's this Ashe is going to hurt a lot more on top of her slows and just the annoyance that she has in these team fights.
All right, I'm gonna call you both out now. I think our predictions a little bit
optimistic. Well, I'm getting close.
No. You're getting close.
I'm almost out.
I'm feeling good. I mean,
we've got double. Was it 38 minutes, 24 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, double objectives in 4 minutes. That's going to be 36. They're not going to start them immediately. You need the team fight. You need to finish together. I'm feeling pretty good right now. That's all I'm saying.
Kaczka feels more confident than both of these teams in their ability to approach, and that's not an awful thing.
We have the luxury of being just observers of what's going on. Who knows? Who knows the sort of comms or even the people behind both of these organisations? Who knows the sort of feelings they're feeling? I'm guaranteed both of them would have loved to have just had a 20-minute stomp for their respective team, but no, we are being treated once again to a very close matchup between these two teams that are putting on a lovely display in the NLC Aurora Cup.
Yeah, and you can tell it matters so much. Like if it looks this tense on camera, where we have both of these teams like facing off, and having this difficult backwards and forwards gameplay, you can guess in every player's mind this is a huge deal.
Yes, definitely. As the prestige of the Aurora Cup is up there with the highest of honours. Some say it is bigger than Worlds. Some would argue that holding the Aurora Cup is more desirable than winning an Olympic gold. But I'm not here to argue any of those facts. But what we are here to look at is How do these teams close this game out? What is it going to take for 4-4 to break the kind of defiance of Veneer? What are Veneer going to have to do to claw back what looked quite comfortable for them after they got the Baron, but then the Dragon play just hit them back a peg?
Yeah, I think if fourth wall are going to play through, we're going to see a separated combination of Ashe ult to like get off the Zhonya's, get off the crown, get some cooldowns out of Ezreal, and then maybe the other, or in this case the Diana Yasuo, to be the damage, to be the follow through. They've got multiple tools, got multiple targets. Got to see something stick.
Yep, and it just looks like 4-4 probably just setting up some form of death brushes. Their
Love it.
vision
The
line,
classic.
yeah, their vision line is a lot higher than Veneer, and that just goes to show the kind of strength of these champions and kind of how the Hextech Soul allows them to be able to push a lot higher than Veneer are able to. So a lot of control currently going over to 4-4 and a lot of respect being shown from Veneer just to be able to catch these waves. They're looking just to get as much gold onto these key people like Harbo, like Liam Cole, and even Katano. They're just trying to get as much gold onto them as they possibly can in order to, when the Elder, when the Baron come back up, they're ready to fight for everything.
Sleeping is directing a lot of attention down towards the ball, and Golly just straight up commit. All right, it's going to be a cross-map angle. You have to imagine with Hullbreaker, it's going to take a while. And tier 2 is going to fall. I like this from fourth wall. Sleeping actually can just run to the rest of his team. He's not necessarily as doomed as I previously thought. Okay, maybe right now. Inhibitor's hard falls. And okay, Sleeping. Can you actually run or can you not? The lifesteal almost does the job, and now the recalls have come through. It's egg drops and Liam Cole, but they won't stop the top inhibitor from falling. Katano, if he can cut down Cat, the death timer won't come up for the Baron, and that is a dead jungler. Both Baron and Elder will be spawning before Katano. Oh, where they goes, trying to keep it going, keep it moving. Harbo goes into the wall pit. Great pass, trying to dish out the damage, is going to try and flash away. Katano with the stacks, Gage still staying alive. The Ashe kiting back. MXC trying to set him up as well as possibly can. Harpo going cold in. The soldiers are there. The rail cannot get in. PewDiePie finally managed to go into the backline. Keep your eyes on these AD carry. Now 1-8 versus 4, but the Eldars are low. Liam Cole misses one of the...
Oh my god.
Brave pass. That's a triple kill. Oh my god, single-handedly keeping fourth wall in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that whole fight is just showcasing Grave Pass on this champion. This is exactly why this champion had to be banned the last 2 games. Very interesting. I don't know if we could get a replay or if people do go back and watch. Harbo for that whole time did prioritize trying to kill off, I think it was the Yasuo, whilst Grave Pass was freely able to fire. So questionable decision making on that side. We do have the Fiora just pushing in the top side. So Veneer have to make a decision here. They have to either kind of contest Fiora on the side lane, but this Elder just looks like it's about to be burst down.
Flying down. Look at Grave Pass go. My gosh, such a powerful force. And even, I think, reaching them in the back of that team fight around topside blue buff it's just so hard to reach this Ashe right now. You can execute on the Azir all you want if your teammates aren't there to burn through what is essentially the biggest tower in the game. If you walk towards it, we'll just burn you down.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to become scary. Grave Pass is getting so much done on this Ashe. Not only is his arrows so effective, but the slows, the obviously procs on the Hextech Soul are just perfect for what this Ashe wants to do. And we saw it in that team fight. He was just able to freely hit. He was under no real pressure at all, other than when Pivot actually, you know, saw him at the backside. But at that point, Grave Pass has already killed 2 of your teammates, and he's just able to out-kite you with the amount of slows and what the Hextech can be able to do. At this stage, Veneer really don't want to fight, but this Baron is just looking so free for 4-4.
They're going to take the double objectives, and I think my prediction is wrong because 24 seconds seems like an awful little time to finish this game for fourth wall, but they've got the double buffs, the late game double buffs. If they don't at least put themselves in a position where it's easy to win, then
they're still so respectful. They're still so calm in the way they're coming towards this. They're not rushing, taking it step by step. And you're right, it's not about red and blue anymore. It's about Dragon's Soul. It's about the Elder. And as Fourth will guide this mid lane at wave in, you see Vanir's last chance come to pass.
Yeah, Vanir just have to kind of outlast this Elder. They really just want to see that Elder buff disappear at this stage. They don't really want to be giving too much over. They're going to have to commit at some point, but they really don't want that Elder buff to be on these champions at that stage.
Tower will be enough to dissuade Fourth Wall. They fall away. Sleeping, who's bought so much time with this Hullbreaker invincibility on their own, keeps pushing into the base. And the Ezreal wave clear, really all that's keeping Vanir alive.
The arrow onto Kitano, going to use the stopwatch. There's the Keeper's Wedding, getting the Fury away. That's another overhand cast is dead. Fate going to the backline, going to resurrect with that Guardian Angel. But Grave Path is just keeping the DPS. He's going to take the first kill. Everyone else is solo, blinking. Hellbar's literally sleeping, going to hit the towers. That's the second one. You have to stop them. You have to go in, Vanir. You have to fight. The Nexus is over, and they will ace them.
At the last end of hope, Grave Pass looked like he'd taken down the tower. Vanir will teleport out onto the map.
Oh my god!
Oh my, it's an EU special. That was close.
That's a less than 1000 HP Nexus, I think. By the time.
Man, I think it's one hit for the Ashe. That
is insane.
Wow, incredible for Vanir. Obviously, massive props has to go to Harbo there and the rest of the roster. They're standing firm, they're standing in defiance of Fourth Wall and of Grave Pass there for the whole time. It just looked like he was kiting incredibly well, and he didn't really go mainly untouched for the whole time that the tower's up there. Even the blinking health bars, you just looked at them and just were waiting for some form of like chain of electric or something like to come out that Grave Pass could just wipe.
One volley just would have done it.
Exactly. But no, Vanir, stay alive in this game. They're going to have to keep doing that. They're going to have to just keep catching these waves. The next kind of objectives coming up. We've got 2 minutes until we see the Elder back on the Rift. If you're Fourth Wall, just composure. Just need to stay composed.
They're not going to have a teleport. Whoever they send against Sleeping will be stuck there. Whether Fourth Wall then commit 5 to the Elder, whether they then play into the back door of Vanir. Man, you guys have sold me. Red side's looking real good in Fearless Draft as we see the minions march into Vanir's base.
Sleeping, putting the pressure on the top side. Sterak's Gage now in the Furious Inventory just to put even more solo pressure in. X drop gonna get called out, gonna get cut down. Grave Pass taking no prisoners. And Fourth Wall, they're looking to go up against Gran Turismo. They have started off the day so well. They were so close at so many points before. And all that stands between them is just the open Nexus cast. Gonna go into the backside. They don't find any multiple knockouts and Sleeping. They're sitting on the Nexus. That is going to be the game. Fourth Wall, they pull the trigger. 42 minutes on the clock. Game 3. What a banger night, but they will win the round 1 in Group B and maintain the 100% red side win rate.
Powerful.
Amazing display from obviously both teams. Vanir didn't give up in that whole game. It looked really close for a long periods of time in it, but overall, I mean, Fourth Wall played incredibly well. At the end there, you just saw the ease of being able just to send an Ashe arrow. They were able to catch X drop, and when that kind of rel falls, you're just kind of waiting for the next dominoes to fall. I mean, Vanir tried to stand, but Sleeping was just able to just waltz towards the Nexus and ended the game.
Yeah, tough enough target walking it over the finish line. A huge props to Vanir, and now they have a difficult job to overcome Ruddy in the lower end of Group B. Congratulations to Fourth Wall, you've done it. And Gran Turismo awaits you in your next games. Gentlemen, anything else we want to add?
I mean, we have literally the 2 Group B superstitions. First of all, the playing team is going to win. And second of all, red side, just just red side. Out of 6 games, all of them were won on red side now.
Yeah, it is interesting to see if the whole red side being the strong side, whether that is just a fearless draft type thing where like the counter picks are working really well, or whether it's just at the moment red side is the stronger side out of the two in terms of like the champs that they have available for them. But obviously, as you said, we've got both playing teams that have won today, so they'll be moving on to kind of keep going in this tournament. We do have Veneer and Ruddy, two NLC Div 1 organizations fighting for survival in these early sort of stages in the Aurora Cup. So bit of a shock that we're at that stage, but fourth form Gran Turismo played so well that they thoroughly deserve their place.
Yeah, thank you for joining this Wednesday evening. We will be back Friday, 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Central European time for the continuation of this group. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.